Are they there?
I think so.
I don't see anybody.
Look
I
closer.
don't think they're there. Nobody's there.
What's in this right here?
Hi, YouTube. So now I have 5 windows open. I'll try to get another window open. So okay, Josh, you ready?
Audacity?
Let's see Audacity.
Ready.
Go ahead, Dave.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 69 of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Chad Viss, joining me as always from the same room as me. Well, that doesn't happen as always, but it is this week. Dave Mann.
Yeah.
We're in Dave's room.
My room.
It's Dave's room.
I think it's very special that you guys happen to be in the same room on this particular numbered episode.
I don't follow.
I'm not saying anything else. That's all I'm saying.
I don't understand.
No, I just think it's cool.
What? Oh, okay.
Or funny or something.
It's funny.
Sure.
Like funny like I'm a clown. Funny.
Right. Exactly.
Like because it took us a year and 17 weeks to finally what?
I don't know.
Fuse.
The other voice you're hearing, not in the same room as Dave and I, but as always, Joshua Owens.
Yeah, that's me. I get left out of stuff. It's fine.
You're not. You could have driven.
Yeah, no,
to
whatever.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was this number until.
Why do you keep saying that?
Until this episode, and Chad said the number, and then I was like, "Ha!"
All of our podcasts.
Is that your favorite number? In you have a favorite number?
No, it's not my
kid?
favorite number.
Like, what's your favorite number, Dave? What's your favorite number?
24.
Josh, do you have a favorite? Well, I think we know yours. Mine's 12. That has always been my favorite number.
I don't think I've ever
Is that
had
what
a
you mean?
favorite number.
Do you have a favorite number in your Beaver Cleaver gamer tag or your?
It's my birth year. I put my birth year with it.
For some reason, I thought it was Beaver Cleaver 69. I don't know what.
You were born in 1969.
No, it's not. Listen,
no.
For
he
all
was
those
born
listening,
in 69.
For all those listening, I do not have a 69 in my gamer tag or my PSN ID, and 69 is not my favorite number. I just thought it was funny. And I didn't even realize that this episode number was this episode number until...
He totally doesn't need a 69 in his PSN name because it would be overkill.
And my PSN ID is not dirty, but people always think it's dirty. I want to change it, but I can't.
Come on, Shuhei.
Ridiculous.
Freaking Shuhei.
Let us change our names.
I've been championing this cause for years for PlayStation players.
This year, E3, they're going to do it.
You think so?
No.
Did you not predict that? That was
it's one of my predictions, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It got to.
Got to.
I'm a Cubs fan too, and I always say this is the year, and it never happens. So
they're all right. They're all right this year.
They're doing pretty good.
All right.
I'm going to a Crosstown Classic game this year.
That'll be fun. Don't die. Don't kill anybody. They're a lot better than these guys right here.
Is that a Reds hat you got going on?
No. Are you kidding me?
I can't see it.
That's a T. See the T?
Oh, I gotcha.
And then the C, Twin Cities.
Sorry.
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
I can't see it. Twins. The window's too small.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should maximize us.
Yeah. Minimize your own window.
No, my window is minimized. But I got the other stuff on the other side of my screen.
Okay. That's good. No, that's good to have that there. All right. So, yeah, here we are. Dave and I are in the same room. We're relatively close, so we decided we had to podcast together. Ideally, it'd be great if all three of us could be together. I mean, that would be the best.
Yeah.
But that's difficult to get all three of us together in one place at one time.
Also doesn't work in a 69.
I'll tell you how we could make that happen, Chad.
I don't get it. Yeah. How?
All three of us podcasting in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would happen if the listeners would go over to patreon.com and sign up.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, let me tell you what patreon.com is. Patreon.com is a virtual
$2,500
each. Patreon.com is a virtual tipping and rewards website, and that's where you can go if you feel like we're doing a great job. And let's face it, we're killing it.
Have you heard the last few minutes?
We're nailing it. This has been super great, epic banter, and you want to hear more. Head over to patreon.com. Toss us $1 or 10 or 50. Whatever.
This episode's certainly worth $1.
That absolutely is.
At least 69 cents.
Listen, what people should pledge 69 cents for episode 69. Whatever you maybe you gave your kids some candy money and they went to the candy store and they brought back like $1.50 and change.
Half a candy bar?
Yeah. They brought back $1.50 and change. You're like, man, $1.50 doesn't go very far these days. What am I going to do with this? What you can do is send it over to us. We're going to send it. We're not going to send it. We're going to keep that and turn it into podcast hosting for your ears.
Right.
And then this happens.
Magic.
And if enough people like what we're doing and sign up, then we could all do it all in the same room at the same time in the same
could
place.
have like a meet and greet.
It would be fantastic.
South Dakota Gamer live.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
One.
Woo.
Yeah, one.
Yes.
Someday.
So, yeah, you should head over there. We have a few tiers you can take
Brookings.
advantage of. If you want to toss us a buck, $1, you're going to get a shout out on the show. That's going to happen a little later on. If you want to toss us $5, you can get a shout out on the show and a promo spot for something that you want to promote. And if you want to toss us $10, big spenders, you can get the other two
Baker's
things.
dozen.
Jeez, we're ripping off everyone this episode.
Somebody just throws a live male deer at us in the middle of the street. You know, $1. Get it?
Wow.
I get it.
Yep.
That would hurt.
Anyway, if you want to toss us 10 of those, you get the first two things plus a guaranteed 1 hour gaming session with the host or hosts of your
Santa's
choice.
entire fleet.
Stop it. Just stop.
Sorry.
We're super good at video games, and you want to play with us.
How many
so
reindeer were there?
do it.
Eight
There's-
reindeer.
Well, and then plus
Two more.
Rudolph, there's 9.
9, right.
Close.
Close to a baker's dozen.
That's all I got. That's patreon.com.
Go check us out.
/South Dakota Gamer. You should check us out.
You should.
And, if you don't want to do that, we're still going to do the podcast because we like you anyway.
Agreed.
We would like you a little more if you tossed us.
That's also true. Excellent.
Some guys that we support us now, I don't really.
Moving right along.
Are you talking about Chad? You're talking about Chad, aren't you?
I'm sitting right here.
It was self-hate.
Oh, okay.
Talking about myself.
All right. Well, let's move into the new releases for this week. What say you? You say yes? Good. Okay. So this is for June 7th, which is tomorrow. Peek behind the scenes. We were recording on the 6th.
Or today, through the magic of time and
Happy
editing.
Not happy. Don't
Which
forget.
you know what that means.
Well,
Tomorrow is going to be 6716.
I don't.
It's almost like 1776, but it's 67. And if you draw your ones all weird with a little thing, it almost looks like another 7.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Jeez, I'm in the same room.
76.
I'm confused. So there's some games.
67.
And
And
I
I
was-
was into numerology since we talked last.
Before that, I was going to mention that today is D-Day, the anniversary of D-Day. So
Yeah.
for America, where South Dakota is.
1776 is like Independence Day, which has a D in
So
it.
the new games for this week, we've got a few of them. Some of them you may like, some of them maybe not. But first off, we got Broken Bots for the PS4. Broken Bots is an arcade-style multiplayer shooter. Doesn't say shooter. Multiplayer robot warfare where players dish out power-ups to teammates and glitches to foes. Customize weapons, passes, and skills, then battle it out and capture the flag, team deathmatch, and King of the Hill.
Actually, sounds pretty cool.
Broken Bots. Go get that.
Ducati
Yeah, we're
from. That's
yeah,
not a
you can
video
go
game.
do a.
That's just an
yeah.
ad.
So the next one is Guilty Gear. It's got an X
The 10th
and then RD, like you would say the third, but it's the letter X or
Guilty Gear Turd.
Guilt Revelator. So there's a lot of hyphens. Comes for the PS4 and the PS3.
Maybe it's Zerd.
because X could be a Z.
Xylophone.
That's dumb. Real dumb.
Well,
Choose from
I
more
didn't-
than 20
I
insane
don't play
fighters
it.
as you battle for glory in the post-apocalypse. New fighters, modes, and polished mechanics provide infinite ways to annihilate your rivals. Intense brawls, polished graphics, I just said this, and massive amounts of content ensure the fight is never over. Okay.
Did you just reread the
No, look, it's like literally
same?
polished mechanics and polished graphics. I like polish.
Colin would be pissed.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
He read that.
You know what? I don't even fault him for that either because it's annoying. So go ahead, get that Guilty Gear Zerd Revelator. That's what I'm assuming it is. Next, probably the big one for this week.
I can't believe that comes out tomorrow.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Tonight.
Totally forgot.
Yeah, right. The hype is like not there.
I didn't get to play the beta.
I did. It was okay.
It was
Mirror's Edge.
more Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge Catalyst raises the action-adventure bar through fluid first-person action and immerses players in Faith's origin story as she fights for freedom within the City of Glass. So that comes out. That's the big one. I was on my list to get. I'm not really interested
I was
anymore.
almost certain this was the big one.
Why are you no longer interested?
I don't know.
Because this next one's coming out too.
No. Supposedly this one's actually people are interested in this next one. But the reason I'm not necessarily interested anymore is the beta didn't hook me enough. I just felt like more of Mirror's Edge. And I don't know if I want to pay $60 for that.
So it wasn't like you're not happy with it being just more Mirror's Edge. It needed to change something.
I don't know that it needed to. I'm sure it's a fine game. Maybe it's just because I have too many other things I've been playing.
Yeah.
And that I'm still vested in that getting a new game really has to be something that's gonna grab my attention.
Yeah.
Like for me, on the horizon, the next game I'm kind of interested in is Lego Star Wars. Like that's the next one. I'm like, yep, getting that one. So anyway,
for me, it was we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Maybe it's in the news. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, it probably is. I know what you're thinking. Okay, me too. Odin Sphere, Lift Racer.
Yeah.
It comes to PS4, PS3, and the Vita. In Odin Sphere, that word, experience the world of Orion as it hurtles towards the end of days as warring kingdoms clash for control. Take control of the magnificently hand-rendered characters in this enchanted realm, filled with mythical beasts and gargantuan monsters.
Leaf Tracer.
Okay, I'll go with that.
So yeah, trace some leaves.
Trace those leaves. All right, next we've got Project Soul, the Souls Project. So the game I have pulled up is called Project Soul, which is not the same as the Souls Project. So I don't know what the Souls Project is. I tried to research. It didn't work out so well because I typed in the wrong thing. That comes out on the Xbox One and the PC, the Souls Project. So next, Steam World Heist. I had that too. Where did it go? Steam World Heist. One moment. Wait for it. There it is.
69 hijinks.
I got you covered on Solus Project.
Do it.
Single player survival and exploration experience for PC and Xbox One. I
played a little bit of this.
Earth has been destroyed and mankind lingers on a small fleet of ships near Pluto. As humanity's last hope, you are sent to scout a distinct planet as a potential location for a colony. After years of space travel, disaster strikes, and your ship is destroyed when approaching the planet.
I played a little bit of this on Xbox's preview program.
It actually looks and sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like a survival game. It's reminiscent to the experience I had early on in Ark Survival Evolved, except there's no multiplayer. It's just you wake up on this planet and you have nothing, but you have to immediately start looking for things. Now it seems to me it seems a little bit more in depth as far as the survival part. But you have to, like, for example, I had to go and find some warmth because the temperatures on this planet fluctuate, massively. And I had to go in, find maybe some rock. I found like a can of like crushed food that was in the wreckage, bashed it open with the rock, used it to cut some like plant life that I could then dip in some oil I found, light on fire for some warmth, found some water that was trickling off of like a stalactite, and drank some of that, and then I got wet somehow, and I was getting colder quicker. It was definitely for those kind of people that like to sink that amount of intense, thought-provoking time. Like, it's not just a time waster. You also have to really be thinking really in depth. And it got with the other things I wanted to play, it was there's no way I can right at this moment focus my time into this. But as far as managing survival skills and stuff like that, I can see somebody really, because it's different because it's futuristic. You're on a planet. You've got the only real device is this electronic thing that tells you your heart rate, tells you different stuff about your body, the temperature it is right now, different things like that. So you have a little bit of electronic stuff. You're not in the Dark Ages, like you were in Combat Survival or Ark. So, yeah, it was interesting. I only played maybe for about 20 minutes.
It looks super detailed. It's got tides, plants grow and rot. Yeah, looks awesome.
Cool.
There you go.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Josh. The next one is SteamWorld Heist. Captain Piper stumbles upon a new ally with a past shrouded in mystery. Dive into the action and take on new missions with all new weapons, gears, and shipload of hats. A shipload, I say.
A shipload. Did you guys play SteamWorld Dig?
I did not.
It's actually a pretty decent game.
This is for the PS4 and the Vita cross-buy. So there you go. Get that one. Next on the list is Phoenix Furia. I don't know. So apparently there's a game.
Sure, it's Furia or is it Furia?
I'm gonna guess Furia.
I'm going with Furia because that's what I said.
Nothing in that picture looks furry. It looks actually spiky and scaly and anyways, rock surfaces.
So apparently there's a game called Phoenix Rage that came out before, and on the post here,
which would make sense for Fury.
Okay, fine. The PlayStation blog says Phoenix Rage is now changing its name to Phoenix Furia. Why? Because it sounds more exotic. Okay, no, we changed the name because of unforeseen circumstances. Personally believe it's conspiracy against having cookies in our game, but that's another story. So anyways, apparently this is a game where I don't know what you do. There's a lot of fast action. So there's an easy mode for brand new players. In normal mode, one hit will kill you. There's also some co-op now and redesigned levels. So apparently they remade Phoenix Rage and are re-releasing it. It's coming out on the Xbox One and the PS4 on June 8th.
You think they got hit by a copyright infringement?
It's possible.
From Rage?
Maybe. The id game?
Yeah. The one nobody...
Massively popular one.
Who can say?
Yeah.
Next we have Hearts with a giant capital Z. Hearts... co-op puzzles. That's right. Hearts offers you a hearty combination of platform, action, puzzle, and local co-op gaming. Outsmart traps and solve mysteries in each room and level while getting rid of Dr. Nihilus's soldiers and machines. Kink, jump, fart, scare, bite your way through mischievously designed levels. Puzzle platformer Hearts. Interesting. It is on... Yeah, Xbox One and PS4. It's already on Steam. Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Colin talks about the descriptions for these games and how horribly written they are, and rightfully so, I think. Somebody needs to talk to these people about naming their games, though.
Right.
Too.
Yeah. Next. One is already on Steam, coming to Xbox One on June 8th. In Between. I have the Steam description up right now, and it says, dive into the atmosphere of a dense, hand-painted game while exploring the reason why you are here. Welcome to a world in between. It looks kind of like a puzzle platformer from the pictures is kind of showing off. So that is available on the Xbox One. The next two I did not look up because I'm fairly familiar with, but the next one, Kirby Planet Robotron for the 3DS.
Yeah.
So if you're a Kirby fan...
It says Robobot.
Well, it's Robobot. Robobot, not Robotron.
I'm just excited to be getting a new Kirby game.
Yeah, it's What's the last one they did? Was that Claymation one?
Mm-hmm.
Was that also on 3DS or was that a Wii U?
I don't remember it coming to 3DS.
Yeah, I thought that was a Wii U game. So Kirby Planet Robobot comes out on June 10th for the 3DS. You can go ahead and pick that game up. It's probably a Kirby game. And then finally we have Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, also on June 10th. That one is just like the other ones they've done, it's a Telltale kind of point-and-click crime-solving adventure game. I've played one back on the 360, which was pretty fun. There are some puzzles. I used some guides to help myself find those puzzles or finish them. But for trophy and achievement hunters, fairly straightforward, simple game to get all the trophies in.
Yeah, I have one on my PC. They're pretty solid games.
Yeah. So that's the new releases. And let me tell you, the new releases this week are brought to you by the East Coast Candle Co.com.
What's the East Coast Candle Co., Chad?
Now, Josh, I'm glad you asked me this. I wish I had the write-up that you use. Maybe you use it from memory. But the East Coast Candle Co. is the world's premier soy-dipped candles.
The world now.
It is now. That's the way I recall.
All right.
So it's a great candle company, and I have a candle from them. Dave has a candle from them.
I've already burnt through it.
Josh, where's yours?
I don't recommend them. They burn very fast.
Stop.
I'm just kidding.
Great, you're gonna have to edit that out now.
We can't. Wow. I don't have.
I loved it so much that I just burnt it up.
I don't have.
I also
I do.
I bought the smallest one.
I like candles. I like it when other people burn candles. I don't burn them often on my own. I'm a single 30-year-old man, so
if you could get the coffee one.
Wait till you're a single 33-year-old man.
I mean, I'm not single. I'm like
burn them.
Right.
I'm burn them.
In a relationship, but I'm not married.
Wait till you're married with 3 kids, 36-year-old man, and you get a coffee one, and your wife says, "I'd rather not smell that right now." And you say, "Okay."
And you say, "I'll pay good money for this. I'm going to burn it whenever I want."
It's amazing once you cross past 30 and you start supporting the people that support you, Josh.
It's a
yeah.
Wow.
So go, Josh, to eastcoastcandleco.com to find a candle that fits your age
today
and life situation.
You know what? Fine, I will.
It will be greatly appreciated by one of our sponsors. All right.
I'm so cheap that not only did I buy the smallest one, but I also bought it during the promo where you entered South Dakota Gamer. And you got a discount.
Well done, sir. I'm not even mad about that.
But I still bought one.
Yeah, you have one.
And
you got coffee too, right?
Yeah, I got coffee. I used it all up.
Yeah, I haven't used all mine up.
That's mainly because I started before I game, and then it just
went all night
forever. It's just
a big black streak on the
hot glass of melted soy
liquid
candle.
Magma.
Yeah,
cool. All right, so do that. Join that. Go buy one. They're great. Moving on, that brings us into the news that you can use
if you so choose.
Well, no, that's the space where you go and you'll split it and you'll put in some music right there. So just listen to that. All right, we have. I didn't count. I need to do numbers instead of letters. But we have P items.
Every week, we're like, we have P number of items, or D number of items, or whatever.
A B C D E F G H I J K elemental P. I messed up. I think it's 15.
15 items on the episode number 69 list for
16.
The news. 16, halfway through the alphabet.
No.
Yes.
24.
32. Are there 24? Why am I thinking 32?
I don't know.
No, there's 34 letters.
It's been a long time since I've been in school.
Chad is so smart. He knows 8 extra letters.
I am so smart.
You're probably counting the numbers too. Let's see.
Yeah, that's it.
See, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10. So you'd be 34. You're 2.
Well, either way, I was wrong. So the news you can use is not any of that. Here is some things that you might be interested in. First off, Rocket League. That's a real good game.
That's a real good
Yeah.
game.
That game has sold over $110 million worth of that game. Their budget originally was $2 million.
Yeah, I remember bringing this up on the podcast when they hit 50 million.
That wasn't that long ago either.
Before they crossed over to the Xbox on a budget of 2 million. That's crazy. And they keep in mind, Psyonix developed this game as a side project while they were working contracts for other developers. Like, this was a side project that they put together and put out there as a spiritual successor, I guess, to rocket-powered supersonic battle car, Galactica, whatever they called it. I don't even know.
Yeah,
not Galactica, but yeah. So they've released on 3 platforms now: PS4, PC, and Xbox. Hit 110 million and still going strong, I would assume.
Yeah. I don't think they're doing side projects for people anymore.
It never takes me long to find a match. There are always thousands and thousands of people online.
In 110 million, be mindful of the fact that how long was it free?
A whole month.
Yeah.
It was one of the PlayStation free games, PlayStation Plus. That's how I got it.
And I think, I feel like I've been a Rocket League evangelist, to use a word that people we listen to use a lot. And
also 69.
Sure. But I love the game, but even if the game is not for you, I think looking at how Psyonix has done the content, the additional content for that game is a very good outline, for lack of a better word, to follow for other companies.
Good pattern.
They've continued to support the game. The only problem I have, and I'll say it here because I've tweeted at Psyonix and Rocket League twice about this issue since the Hoops update, and it still has not been resolved, and it's getting real old. Okay. So they've supported the game really well. There've been patches and updates, and they restructured the whole ranking system. They've put out some cool additional modes, some purchasable stuff, but the in-game purchases have been far outweighed by the additional content they've provided, and I very much appreciate that. However, when the Hoops update released, and I think I mentioned this shortly after it released, it broke my text chat.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
On my PS4 version. I don't know if it's the same for anybody else on PS4 or Xbox or PC or anywhere, but on the PS4, you have to touch the trackpad in the middle of the controller.
Right.
You have to press click that button in order to send a chat, like a typed out chat.
Right.
And with this update, the Hoops update, you were supposed to be able to long press that to automatically save a replay of your match with a keyframe starting at the time when you pressed it.
Right.
Well, what the update did is it made it so just single clicking it does the replay thing, and you have to long press it to get the chat, but it automatically does the save replay thing. So I've saved countless replays
just by wanting to
send a chat,
wanting to troll somebody for being a jerk and losing 10 to 0.
And there's no way, it takes so much time to long press it and then type out your message. Most of the time you don't have time to do it, in between, in the replay between shots or whatever. So it's getting real frustrating. I've tweeted them twice with no response, but it's getting real old. Other than that, I love the game. I play it a lot, and congrats to them for hitting 110 million. I hope. I know they will. I hope they keep supporting this game. Did they just finish the tournament that they were doing?
I don't know. I didn't follow it as closely as I'd like to, but
I really was I was wishing I could have jumped into that with somebody.
We should have done it. Should have done it.
Yeah, I don't have the devoted time to do it. But
are you still chasing down Tyler?
Not since I got a PS4.
Tyler, as we know, top of the leaderboards in almost every category. Dave had this I have to be number one thing for a while.
Well, I didn't. No, I knew I would never be number one. I just knew that if I did the stats and multiplied them times hours played, I could get to the point to where I was more beneficial to a team than Tyler was, which I did get to.
Oh, well then.
And then I stopped.
You hear that, Tyler?
The
Then I
gauntlet
stopped
has been thrown.
I
stopped
Tyler?
my chase, my pursuing of that because I proved myself to myself. That's all that matters.
Okay then. Letter B. Xbox One gets a permanent $50 discount. You can now find any Xbox One for $299.
Nice.
Some of
Not
them
bad.
also include games and such, but $299 is the most you're going to pay for an Xbox One now.
So even the bundles, like they're capping out at $299.
I believe, yeah.
Or I would
either that or
imagine the
bundles
terabyte one is still.
that one might be a little bit more.
Huh.
I wonder if that got a price.
The base version is
$350 for the terabyte,
probably.
maybe?
I don't know. I can't. Who can say?
Very cool.
Anybody
Someone
who has the internet.
The reason for that is letter C. There's a rumor. This is most likely the reason for that, I should say. There's a rumor that we are going to get a Xbox Scorpio announcement at E3 here next week, as well as a Xbox One Slim announcement. If you listen to our E3 podcast, our prediction one, you have heard, I believe, myself talk about a 1.5 Xbox One that I thought they were going to talk about. The rumor now is the Slim version will come out later this year, and then the Scorpio is what their code name is for like the PlayStation Neo. The Scorpio will come out next year sometime, 2017, and I still hold true to the fact that I believe that'll be, obviously the hardware will be better, which means Oculus Rift will be able to be played through that version of Xbox One.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there.
Nailed it.
Who is in charge of these Neo and Scorpio
Who knows?
code names for these projects? Just one time, I'd like to see one of these consoles come out and be like, yeah, code name is the next Xbox, and here's what it's gonna do.
They should just keep the name though. Once they actually
one?
come out, have it
As a
be.
platform?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
the
you
next.
mean like actually call it the Scorpio?
Yeah. Or keep the PlayStation 4.5 and the Neo. But they never do. They always change the code.
They never will. There's talks that the next iteration of each of these systems will be a platform instead of a console.
Right.
And that this, like, the next one will be the ongoing, like, it'll outlive the normal life cycle of any console.
Sure.
And they'll just
update
that
like
one.
a PC. Yeah.
Strange times
Mm-hmm.
we live in.
I'm interested to see. I mean, E3 we talked about it last week, but I'm excited for it. Yep.
That was coming.
That happened. All right, next, letter D. Fallout 4 mods rolling out on the Xbox One. There's a report that it generated, and this is from Xbox, generated 50 times more traffic on the Xbox One than on the PC. So when they announced that the mods were coming to the PC, and that came out, and all the excitement was there, it generated X amount of traffic on the PC, and it just recently, it is out, correct? On the Xbox? Like just,
I believe so, yeah.
It, like a week or so ago, it generated, Bethesda says it generated 50 times more traffic on that console than it did on the PC version, which is
awesome.
huge.
Yeah.
That means console gamers want some of this stuff.
Yeah, console gamers have been dying for mods for years. And we were talking about this a little bit in the text thread.
Right.
Like, that's a crazy amount of traffic. So, like, props to them. And I hope that developers and hardware manufacturers alike take this to heart and see that people are dying for this kind of, like, control and interaction over their games.
Yeah.
There's no way this is a bad thing. The mods are not a bad, like, the PC community's embraced them, and it's made the PC community stronger than ever. There's no way this is a bad thing for consoles. I can't fathom why it's taken this long.
I can tell you, I have so badly, anytime I ever saw an article on mods in one of the Grand Theft Auto games, I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
On my console.
Yeah, and since I play on PC a little bit, I've been able to do a little bit. And like I've never run like a Huper. What was I even trying to say?
A Huper?
A super high end. I think I was trying to say super
hybrid.
high end rig, and I mix super and high end. But so I've never had a really expensive PC, but like being able to run mods on a game that you already love and like changing textures or updating graphics slightly, or putting crazy weird stuff into a game, or in the case of Skyrim, adding entire new quest lines and whole new areas. Like, it's almost limitless what you can do with mods. And there's no way it's bad for anybody, the platform, the developer, anyone. Like, if there's an awesome mod out there for Skyrim, like if somebody comes out with a brand new mod for Skyrim and somebody is like, Skyrim's okay, and they never bought it, and then they're like, oh, this crazy mod adds 60 hours of gameplay, they're like, all right, I might jump into this. You still have to buy the game to get into it. Man, it's exciting. I can't wait till they come to PS4.
Two things. One, I think what you were going for was highfalutin.
That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah.
Secondly, Grand Theft Auto 4 had a mod where you could play as Iron Man and fly around the world.
I remember seeing
Grand
that.
Theft Auto 5, actually, Grand Theft Auto 4 also had one where you could drive around in the DeLorean and actually go back in time. You could time travel. And Grand Theft Auto 5 has a mod where you can fly in the Millennium Falcon.
It also has a mod where you can shoot exploding sharks at people.
That's true. Yeah. Yes. Also, I think Grand Theft Auto 4 had one at one point where you could drop like live whales into the world.
Fantastic.
Just drop whales wherever you wanted. They'd flop around in the street throwing
so
cars.
Need that on consoles. Bring that to consoles.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Fallout 4 news, and you have to tell me, I didn't get to ask you this, Josh, but supposedly Far Harbor was causing a lot of issues on the PS4.
I have not jumped into Far Harbor yet.
Okay.
Sure. The one time that I jumped into Fallout 4 was a couple weeks ago when I mentioned it. I jumped into Fallout 4 because I installed the Far Harbor DLC, and then I ended up spending all of my time, like I always do, in my settlement, trying to earn the benevolent leader perk or trophy or whatever. And I never even went to Far Harbor. I have heard a couple people mention that frame rate drops like for a few seconds at a time on PS4 while they were playing the Far Harbor DLC. I haven't heard anybody say that it's been causing issues elsewhere in the game. It seems
just in that section.
Yeah, it seems just in that section, but I've heard it a few places.
Sony or Bethesda came out and said and released a patch for it, which I think fixed a lot of the issues relatively quickly. But then there's also still been, like you said, the frame rate issues going on, enough to the point where it's made news, so obviously it's affecting. If you remember back when Skyrim came out, PS3 had tons of issues with Skyrim. So, and
I'll say it again.
Yep, here we go.
I've had so many horrible issues on PS3 with Bethesda games, from Oblivion to Skyrim to New Vegas, which I know wasn't Bethesda, but it was still a Bethesda IP and probably running on their engine, I assume, and some other stuff. And I have had some issues with Fallout 4, not terrible issues so far, admittedly, which is why I owe Chad a burger. And I was just listening to a podcast today, and this came up, and the fact that everybody gives Bethesda a pass because it's a Bethesda game, so of course you're gonna get those issues. Enough is enough. Like, and Colin made the point perfectly when he said before it was always, it's a Bethesda game, they're super ambitious, so we can accept a few of these issues because of the ambition and scope of these games. And then Witcher 3 came out with no known bugs like this. And so he's like, so now what the crap is your excuse? Like, stop it. This has to stop. There is no excuse for this anymore. Like, Bethesda needs to go home, like rework their engine and come back with a non-buggy game, because like there's no reason for it anymore.
Right. Yep.
That being said, frame rate and that stuff, like, that's never bothered me. Even if a frame rate drop during gameplay or whatever, never bothers me that much. When there's a game breaking bug, that's awful. And I had one of those with Oblivion, one of those with New Vegas. I think one of those with Fallout 3, maybe too. But yeah, there's no reason for it anymore.
There was a bug in the new remastered combo of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
I put in Heavy Rain, and I never played it before. Never had it on
Great
PS3.
game.
So I started playing it, and right off the bat, like the wording came up to where it was like, all right, move the slider to where you can barely see this logo, and everything was flashing. And I'm thinking, maybe this is like, I know this is some type of a crime solving, suspenseful, maybe thriller. I don't, but this looks like it would give people seizures. Like, what? It's flashing so much it literally is almost hurting my eyes. I got through it, and it goes to the opening sequence, and it's flashing again, and I'm like, I just really don't think this is supposed to look like this.
Like, do people like this?
It's flashing violently, and so I got through it, and it goes to the opening cinematic, and I'm like, okay, it looks normal. Shows the guy laying in bed. I'm like, okay, looks normal. Then it goes full screen, and it starts to go in right where it's about to give you gameplay, and all of a sudden the whole animation is going like this.
Oh man!
And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I get on the internet, and it's like, oh yeah, there's this kind of bug where you have to completely restart your PS4, and it doesn't happen anymore.
Did it work?
Weird.
Yep. Restarted my PS4, turn it back on. No problems. No explanation why. Weird. On the online why it solved it or why it started, but that's what was solving it for everybody. Completely restarting your PS4.
Strange.
Weird.
Okay.
I'm excited to hear more about you playing that game, Dave, because I played that game on PS3 like when it came out, and that was
I didn't know anything about it except what I had read when I first saw it in like, I don't know if it's Game Informer or whatever magazine I was looking at the time. And I thought I would be interested in this game. I thought maybe I said something about it. Maybe I was just telling somebody in a party chat or something, but I started playing it, and I'll get to this. I'll talk about the actual game later. But when I started playing it, I knew I was going to like the story, but the gameplay was one of the worst things I'd ever experienced in my life as far as movement. Like, I totally hated the movement, and I started getting used to it as I went through, but it's completely so backwards from every other game you're used to using the sticks. And in this one, you hold down like the R2 button, and he just starts walking, and you have to pull the stick around to turn him, but otherwise he'll just keep walking in a straight line as long as you have the R2 button down, and you have to direct him that way. And the camera is controlled with your right stick to a degree, but it's basically just set camera angles. So your guy's walking this way, but you don't see. It's almost like the old Resident Evil games, but that actually played to the horror and suspense in the game, where this is just like, I don't know where I'm going. I just have to wait until I can change the camera angle. There's like maybe a couple camera angles. So I mean, I played into it enough to where I've played 3 different characters so far, and I've started to get over that a little bit, and have been the story's picking up to where I'm more interested. I'm more focused on the story now than the actual gameplay. But there are still a couple times where I'm like, I just wish I wish I could control this. Could control this person differently. But other than that, so far it still looks good. It was not, a last gen game at the end of the console that looked as good as, like The Last of Us or anything like that, but it still looks good. I mean, it's still a last gen game, and it holds up. So, and I don't even know what Beyond Two Souls is. Not is Beyond Two Souls.
That one.
Is Beyond Two Souls? What's the girl's name from Inception and from Juno? Yeah. Is that her?
That's her. Yeah.
Is she also in Heavy Rain?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so she's just in Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
I forgot her name. Paige something, right? Ellen Page?
Yeah, that's her.
I like her. She's done some good work.
Yeah.
She also likes women like I do.
Okay,
that's a different story.
moving along. Letter F, Destiny. They came out and said they're going to show the next adventure for the game on a June 9th live stream. So we talked about one of the last 2 weeks with Isaac about the new reveal, the Iron Banner, basically the something of iron they're calling it, I forget. And Isaac talked about how getting leaks just kind of ruins it for him and not seeing it too early. So whatever that was and is, they're going to show on a live stream on June 9th, which is right before E3. So here in just a few days. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and take a look on their live stream. Letter G, No Man's Sky. I believe this is the one you were talking about earlier, Josh.
Yep.
Has been delayed 7 weeks. It was supposed to come out, I believe June 21st is now coming out in August.
I'm so angry.
And people were so angry that the developer, Sean Murray, had received numerous death threats.
That's freaking retarded.
It's
Sorry,
the internet.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't use the R word. That's
You're singling out a group of people again.
Yes,
and
I'm
it's
very
not
sorry.
Those
unacceptable.
people.
I know. I'm legitimately sorry. I shouldn't use the R word. I've been trying to correct that in my vocabulary, and I apologize. However, that's unacceptable. And not only did Sean Murray receive death threats,
The guy who reported it.
the guy that broke the story, I can't remember his name now, over on Kotaku.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have told us this. We should have just found out by lining up and it wouldn't
Yeah.
be there.
He got death threats as well before it was confirmed from the developer, from Sean Murray himself, who got out ahead of it, I think, very smartly and announced it himself. So before Sean Murray came out and said, this is what's going on, man, why can't I remember his name?
Jason Schreier.
Was it
right?
Jason?
Wasn't it Jason?
Highfalutin.
When he broke the story and it was unconfirmed, people were sending him death threats, and then when Sean Murray came out and confirmed it, they shifted to him because he was just and he's a freaking reporter. He wrote a story. He's not responsible for the game in any way. He just found out information and reported it to people, and they're like, "I'm gonna kill you because I can't play games in my mom's basement no more."
I've never understood that anger, in life in general, at anything or anyone.
I like how Greg Miller jokingly responded and said, "You can't kill me, then you'll never get your game." What's
if I'm dead,
you
it'll
kill
never
this developer, and you're never going to get the game.
But I've never understood that type of anger, that level of anger, to literally say I want to kill you or that you should die. Nothing's ever made me that bad.
Yeah.
Now, I don't. It takes a lot to get me angry at all, but I think the internet has multiplied that exponentially because it's anonymous. You're living in who knows where, and you can say anything you want on the internet and get away with it.
That's the whole problem.
I know. I'm saying that's why it's dumb. That's why it's childish, not logical, doesn't make any sense, and should be I don't know how you would enforce it, but it should be criminal. Just like if you would threaten someone personally, the cops are gonna get called.
I would agree. Yeah, if you threaten somebody in person, if I say if
I'm going to kill you,
somebody and say I'm going to kill you,
and you're angry about it,
you could legitimately get the cops called on you and have charges pressed against you because you threatened to kill. You threatened murder.
Right.
I'm tired of playing this game, so I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then have to play hide the soap, and that's not fun, people. Josh told me.
I was told by somebody else. I don't know that firsthand.
It's a different Josh.
Just Chad, I think.
Yeah.
Isaac told Chad while he was sleeping. Someone played hide the soap.
Yes.
I understand. I do understand frustration. And I think I've shown frustration with delays and just dumb things. Mighty Number 9 is a good example. People are super frustrated about people are so frustrated about the delays of that game that a lot of people are not even interested anymore. I think they've lost most of their audience. But to threaten death over a digital product, something that you sit in front of your TV and look at and manipulate with a device in your hands, that's worth threatening to kill somebody over. And I know it's hyperbole most of these people. I'm sure there are some weirdos out there that actually would kill Sean Murray if they had the chance. But for most people, it's hyperbole. And like you said, because it's on the internet, it's anonymous. It's so easy to just say things and express your anger. But like Greg and Colin were saying it too, but if this is what makes you angry enough to threaten to kill somebody on the internet, you need to stop playing video games. You need to seek help and therapy legitimately, and stop. Like, if this is a hobby that makes you angry enough to want to kill someone, you really need to gain some perspective and get some help. That's unacceptable.
I was disappointed. There's no doubt about it. I was like, oh man, I got to wait 7 more weeks. That stinks.
Suck a little bit.
But even if they said, you know what, we can't do it, something fell apart, it's canceled. We're just not going to do the game anymore. We're not going to make it. I'd have been really disappointed over that. But man, that really stinks. So they really wanted to play this game, but I would not. Even at that point, I wouldn't be like, well, then you're gonna have to die. Yeah. I'm sorry, you promised me something as an anonymous general public person. I'm gonna have to kill you.
It's just the way it is. You just have to go.
I don't have to give you $65 now, so you need to get shot in the face.
Yeah, I will kill you now.
I think to Greg and Colin's credit, over on PS I Love You XOXO, I think they made a good point. Because I think
they give us money for that. They give us money for that?
No, but I think they made a good point, and so I wanted to say what I listened to. Because I very much appreciate them bringing this to light, and I think it was a listener question that they were talking about this, and Greg said, because the listener said, how can we change this? How can we make this different? Because there's so much rage, especially
you kill that person.
And instead of saying that, Greg said, I really loved that whole segment. Like, Greg said, the way you fix it is you do the opposite. Like, you be the person that tweets somebody like Sean Murray and says, hey, heard your game was delayed. Still really looking forward to playing it. Sorry things aren't going to schedule, but, good luck, guys. Thanks for doing what you're doing, whatever. Like, the solution is not getting angry at the weirdos. The solution is, just be a nice person.
Be the change you want to see.
That's exactly it. It sounds cheesy, but that's exactly it.
It is.
For a word for word.
It's very cliche, but yeah.
That's why they said they don't allow negativity on their community.
So,
after that.
I thoroughly
after that Fallout 4 question that Josh sent him, he's banned. Because he's complaining.
I'm not banned. I didn't even approach that in a negative light. I still don't agree with them, but I see it. Anyway, I really liked that response, and I like that whole idea. And these developers, like, they get so many, and I sent a tweet to Psyonix, but I've also. I'm guilty of this. I know, like, not sending death threats, but like I've sent two tweets.
Glad you clarified.
I've sent 2 tweets to Psyonix saying, "Hey, fix this chat thing in Rocket League." And I'm sure I know that I have at some point sent like a thank you tweet or somebody to like a developer or like a creator of some kind saying like, hey, this is awesome stuff. Thank you for doing what you're doing. But I do that far less than like when I have a problem and send a tweet or like, post on a Facebook, whatever. And I think we could all stand to take that to heart a little bit or a lot and stop sending death threats. And instead, Sean Murray is not like, he's not saying, screw you, ha ha ha, you have to wait 7 more weeks for my game. He's not like happy about it. He wants to
hey, my game's not ready. I'm real sorry. I want to make it the best it can be. So if you give me another month and a half, I'll try to do that.
So, it makes a lot of sense. And I know it's hard to do sometimes, but if people would just chill out and instead tweet at somebody like Sean Murray or whoever and say, game looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing it. Take the time you need, make it a great game. See you in another month or so.
Right.
Whatever. It would be a much different.
Well,
industry.
I don't think that's going to happen because people are big jerks.
But it could.
It could. We can affect ourselves. You can do that. We can do that.
Yeah.
And then it's just up to everyone else to be an adult. So, beside that fact, what are your thoughts on the actual delay? Like,
I mean, I'm not mad about it. Like, not just because we just talked about that, but it doesn't make me mad. I was like, my heart, it doesn't make me happy. No, my heart sunk a little bit. Like, I was really looking forward to playing that this June. Like that was after, after Fallout 4 last, what was it, November. And then like when I got Rocket League this year, and what's like Uncharted 4 came out, like I couldn't really think of that many more huge releases that I was excited about. No Man's Sky was the next one. Like even Mirror's Edge I was not as excited about. And I've been looking forward to Mirror's Edge for a long time too, but No Man's Sky was the one this summer that I was really looking forward to. So of course I'm disappointed that I don't get to play it. I'm really excited to play it, and 7 weeks is not that long of a delay. And even if they come out in another few weeks and they're like, it's still not going to be ready in 7 weeks, we're going to have to delay it a little more, which I don't think is unheard of or impossible. It's a super small team, but whatever. Like take the time you need to take,
make it good.
There's a certain level of savvy in not taking too long and learning from the mistakes of other developers and losing your audience in the meantime. But if you can be genuine, and I think Sean Murray coming out and announcing this himself was a very smart move. Kind of getting the information right from the horse's mouth. But I mean, take the time you need, and like I'm definitely going to play this game. This doesn't
change
dampen my interest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but it's not the end of the world like some people might feel.
Any other different thoughts than that?
No, my thoughts are identical in that aspect.
Same brain.
Okay, good. Take the time you need. That's what I feel. All right, another game delayed. Dave, I'm sorry. I know you're looking forward to this. Yooka-Laylee has been delayed to 2017. That is the Banjo-Kazooie Kickstarter, like look-alike game that was on Kickstarter. They did release a trailer, though. I have not watched it, but they are delaying the actual game till 2017. So, no, I don't think anyone got death threats over that, though.
No, I don't think there's a lot of hype about this game, but I don't like. I shouldn't say hype. There's a lot of buzz about this game. I don't think the hype is super high though for this one. So people are like, "Oh, okay."
Platformer. So
yeah,
okay. A game that has not been delayed, and you can play pretty much anywhere that you want to.
Literally anywhere.
Minecraft has now sold over 100 million copies.
It's approaching the likes of. Well, not approaching. It has far surpassed most other video games in terms of copies sold. Games like Tetris, I think, and like Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man, I think, still top it. I'd have to look at the numbers. But at the rate it's going, I could see it maybe outselling even those.
It's in the top 10 every MPD, regardless. Yeah. It's always up there.
Since
forever.
Not at launch. It took it a while to catch on. But since a long time ago, it's been years.
Years and years. Yeah. I mean, 100 million, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Continuing on with the number of millions.
Yeah.
7 million is the number of players.
Way less.
But still a lot.
Yes.
7 million is the number of players that have played Overwatch in the first week of its release.
That's crazy.
Josh, it's a real good game.
70.
It is a real good game.
Baker's dozens.
Okay.
Probably more than that.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll have to do the math. Get your calculator out for that one. So yeah, Overwatch is real fun.
It is a real good game. I so much enjoyed the beta. I still as a matter of principle at this point, I'm not gonna buy it until it's a little bit cheaper. Not gonna do it. Not gonna pay $60 for a game that's only functional with other people online.
Okay.
But I thoroughly agree. It's a very good game. I did enjoy the beta a lot.
Yep.
It's smartly done.
All right, moving on. Nintendo, there's a rumor out there saying that they're delaying the mass production of the NX console to early 2017 in an effort to include some VR functionality. The rumor comes out. I forget. I should have wrote down where it came from. But the rumor came out saying that they're targeting a March 2017 release for the console. That hasn't changed. And again, this is only rumor, so Nintendo hasn't come out saying that that's true. But the rumor is going around that in order to include some VR functionality of some kind, that they're delaying mass production of the units into early next year. So everything will still be ready to go. I don't think this will necessarily if it's true, throw off the March release timeline. But if something else goes wrong or something comes up, it could shift. But then it makes you wonder, to throw in something like this late in the game, you wonder how, if it's I don't want it to just be another add-on. You want it to be good. You don't want it to be just a gimmick or a thing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's worth mentioning.
It is. I hadn't heard this actually until I read over the outline. But if this is true, this would be uncharacteristically and smartly savvy is not the word I'm looking for. Nintendo would be paying attention to the market and their consumer base in a way that they haven't for years.
Sure.
If this is true, they'd be more tapped in and listening better than they have for a long time.
Well, you figure this console is going to be right up there with, you would assume, the PS4, the Neo, and the Scorpio, like power-wise.
As far as power,
right?
Yeah,
you would hope. And then obviously Sony has the VR coming out, and if Xbox is doing their thing because they want to be with Oculus, that's going to be it too. So if they're right up there power-wise, then yeah, they'd be crazy not to, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's just not something I think anybody necessarily expected out of Nintendo.
Sure.
Given their seclusion
Right.
for a long time. But it'd be cool. I'm not against it. It would be cool.
It'd be real neat. All right, keeping on. We just have a few more. This is letter L. PT Lookalike Allison Road was a horror game made on Kickstarter, and they were taking a lot of people were saying it looked a lot like what PT was. A lot of hallway horror type stuff.
Yeah.
The game has been canceled.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, there's not been a reason given, but their Twitter account said it has been canceled. Then they will give further details, more information at a later date. So that's unfortunate.
I remember seeing something about that. It looked pretty good.
Yep, I think it was even playable at some shows too. So,
yeah. So right on the heels of that, speaking of horror games, just super quickly, there is a first-person horror game coming to PC in 2017. We don't have a month yet, but it looks real good. It's called Agony, and it's about escaping hell. And so the quote from the developer is, players will begin their journey as a tormented soul within the depths of hell without any memories about their past. The special ability to control people on their path and even possess simple-minded demons gives the player the necessary measures to survive in the extreme conditions they are in. By exploring the hostile environment and interacting with other weary souls of the hellscape, the hero will soon understand that there is only one way to escape from hell, and it will require a meeting of the mystical Red Goddess. So if you're real bummed about Allison Road getting canceled, you can look forward to Agony in 2017.
On PC?
On PC.
Only at the moment?
They did not sponsor that plug, but I thought it looked real good and people should know about it.
Well, I don't like horror games, so...
What?
Yep. I get scared real easy. I'm a big crybaby, and that's okay.
It takes a big man to admit that, Chad.
I'm thinking about getting Soma and getting a PlayStation Eye and streaming it.
It's a PlayStation. It's the camera now. They don't call it the Eye. PlayStation camera.
They could figure that out, but you can't change your names.
Welcome.
They changed the name of the camera.
Cameras have more rights than you do.
That's right.
All right, moving on. You like those Final Fantasy games, Dave? I know you do.
Love them.
I know you do. Final Fantasy 12 is getting a remastered edition called the Zodiac Age it's been announced. There was a trailer that came out, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, only for PS4 in Japan at the moment, but most likely probably going to come out for the US as well. Did you play the original Final Fantasy 12, Josh, at all?
No, I've never played 12.
Me neither. It was PS2, from what I recall reading, but I never played it. People seem excited about it, so I didn't get a chance to watch the trailer. But, if you're looking for some Final Fantasy before 15 and the actual redo of 7, this may be able to fill some of that.
7's never going to happen.
It will. It's available right now on the PS4 if you'd like.
Not the remaster.
Well, no, but
the original game.
The PC port of the original game.
The remaster is never going to happen.
You don't think so at all?
No.
We need to do another burger bet on that one.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Next, Battlefront 3. That's right, Battlefront 3, which was rumored to come out back in the day, like PlayStation 2 era probably still. Never came out. We've got Battlefront recently for the current consoles, but there's a Battlefront 3 fan-made game, which takes a lot of the assets and a lot of the game that was made, and I forget the company before, but it takes a lot of that. They're remaking this game as a fan-made game, and Valve is backing them and is going to put it up on Steam. There's no timetable or anything like that, but Valve did come out and say that they're working with these fans to publish Battlefront 3. They didn't really give a whole lot of information. The rumor is that it'll be free to play, so that there's no IP infringement or name infringement. If they're not charging money for it, they're just giving it away. I think that's their hope.
That's
but
such.
I think as soon as it shows up, Disney comes in and says, "Nah."
Yep, it's gonna get torn down. So hopefully, I can get on the Steam storefront and download it before Disney gets a hold of them. But it doesn't matter if they're making money on it or not. Disney is gonna shut that down super quick.
I would agree, but it's interesting to see.
That is really cool, though.
The fans can get that far, and that Valve is willing to publish it for them.
Yeah.
So, all right. Letter O, Dave.
Yeah.
Volition, I see. What did Volition make in the past?
Saints Row.
Saints Row. They announced today.
Yes.
A new IP, which we'll see some of these announcements come up that aren't huge, but we'll get them dropped right before E3 here in a week.
E3.
And this is one of those.
Yes. New IP.
Yep.
Coming from Volition.
And it's called?
Makers of Saints Row. It is called Agents of Mayhem. There's not a whole lot of information, like you just said. There's more to come on this. But what they can find out, there is like a 4.5-minute announcement trailer that you can find online. But it looks like you're going to be controlling like a squad of 3 people with unique abilities and everything. And it's exclusively single player. It's an open world action game featuring characters with cool guns, gadgets, and abilities to toy around with. And they don't really know what you're doing minute to minute. They don't really know what kind of characters they will be. It will all be answered in time.
Did they give any kind of date or anything yet, or no? Not really.
I
would assume not, but
yeah, I don't think it says just the beginning. For much more on Agents of Mayhem, check here on AGM throughout this month, starting on Wednesday. I mean, so I don't really have a whole lot.
It just came today, so that's all the information we have on that. But if you like those Saints Row games, which I'm kind of glad they're not making another Saints Row game, to be honest with you.
Did they just make the first one? Because I thought Deep.
Well, that was in the whole buyout of what was that company called?
I don't know, but Volition is definitely in the credits of every single one of those.
Okay.
That I've played.
Okay.
Before you start them.
Huh.
Okay. So that's interesting.
I think I've played one Saints Row game. I liked it though.
Yeah, it's crazy. New IPs are always good. So, speaking of an IP that was new before, every IP has been new at one time or another. But this one is new from a couple years ago. I know you really like this game a lot, Dave.
I did. Well, I mean, it was definitely.
What game?
It was underwhelming. It did not deliver. This is Watch Dogs.
Heard of that?
That you're talking about?
I am.
That you did not announce.
No.
You left it for me to announce.
Yes, I did.
Reason. But so Watch Dogs 2 is going to be revealed at E3. That's E3. A confirmed.
Yep, their Twitter accounts. I had it here. They're actually going to announce it. I believe on the 9th as well. They're going to do a reveal.
Oh, that's
event,
cool. But
my
reaction to this was, first of all, the all of the hype, set up Watch Dogs for an underwhelming, reveal, and that's what happened. I mean, it wasn't a bad game. It just was. There's so much expected of this. It's what defines next gen. It was just, and it was cool that the city was a lot more empty than what they, there. Of course, there was the whole graphics downgrade scandal, or whatever you want to call it, that happened. And so when it came out, it was still fun. For someone like me who likes that kind of stuff, I very much enjoyed it. The story was good. The gameplay was good. There were, it had some small, hiccups here and there. But as far as a second one, I'm glad to hear that they're doing it, because it can be a very good game. I think it was a very cool idea for an IP. I think the whole idea of, everything is hackable, and the idea of being able to hack things on the fly and, set up roadblocks for pursuers and hack traffic signals and hack, gate codes and go into CCTVs and all. I thought that was really cool. So for them to be able to, it should be very easy. I mean, it's easier said than done, I guess, but it should be easy for them to find, what things they need to improve on and do that and make Watch Dogs 2 what Watch Dogs 1 should have been, and hopefully even a little bit more with the advance that they've had since.
A lot of Ubisoft games that way. You look at Assassin's Creed 1, had a lot of great ideas. It wasn't perfect, and then they came and made Assassin's Creed 2 and fixed almost all of those issues and made it probably one of the better of the Assassin's Creed series. So that continues. Was
it ever confirmed that Watch Dogs is set in the Assassin's Creed-verse?
There were some places you can go that had some of the.
There were references to Abstergo, and then there's references in I think Unity. There's references to
Watch
Dogs.
So I don't know if it's in the same universe per se, but they reference each other for sure.
I mean, they have to be if they're referencing each other's corporations or whatever. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's it for the news for this week. It's a lot of news.
That was a lot of news.
But wait, there's more.
I think you handled it.
It's popping off over here.
This isn't really news, but it is information that we get once a month, every month, for the last quite a while. So we're going to give you the free games with Xbox Gold and the free games with PS Plus. Yeah. And these free games are brought to you by Sarah Complin Daycare. That's right. You got some kids that need watching? You live near Flanders, South Dakota? Get a hold of Sarah Complin on the Facebook. That's Kompelien. And let's see if she has any openings for daycare. If she does, she'd be glad to watch your children as you work and whatnot. Yeah. Sarah Complin Daycare, Flandreau, South Dakota.
Listen, everybody knows when you're a young, vibrant couple, all you want in the world is to have the babies. And then after you have the babies, all you want in the world is to get rid of the babies. And Sarah's going to help you do that.
For a limited amount of time.
After you have realized that you've made a horrible error, she will take them off your hands for literally hours at a time.
I don't think that's really how daycare works.
Oh.
I mean, with the whole mistake part.
I mean, motives or whatever. Those can be very personal for people.
Yeah, sure. Understood. All right, so there you go. Those free games are, for the Xbox. For all of June, we have Goat Simulator.
Yes.
I brought that up on my Xbox the other day, and that's a weird game. Real weird.
I really want that to be a free game for the PS4 at some point. Yeah. It's been on Steam for forever. Imagine, Dave, getting mods for Goat Simulator on Xbox. Because there's tons of them on PC.
Goat Simulator almost sounds like it's already mods
It feels that way.
Like you're just playing as a goat that's from some other thing, and it's put into this game.
Yeah, it's real weird. You can headbutt people. Anyway. Also that's on the Xbox One. Also on the Xbox One from June 15th through July 15th, The Crew will be free, which is, I believe that's cross-country
racing.
I'm interested.
We talked about that a couple of years ago. That was like supposed to be a game changer or something for
Isn't that games. That's from Ubisoft, isn't it?
That's what I was going to say. I think it's a Ubisoft game. You have to drive up the tower somewhere.
What happened
to the map. You don't
to that game?
They were supposed to do a free version, I know, on the PlayStation Plus. So you're supposed to get a free version of the game, which never worked. Was broken all the time. Was almost unplayable. They took it off. And then, from what I understand, it never really the pay-for game never fully realized its potential. It was okay, but it didn't really ever hit what they were hoping for.
There was a lot of talk and hype about that game.
I believe that game was also free
on the podcast.
I think it was free on the PlayStation at some point, too. I just said they had a free version that never worked, but it was still there. So I know I have it. I never actually played it, but
crazy.
So those are your Xbox One games. For the Xbox 360, which are also backwards compatible with Xbox One, so you get all the Xbox 360 games also on your Xbox One. Super Meat Boy is the 1st through the 15th, and then XCOM, the 16th through the 30th. Both really great games, so that's cool. You can play all of those if you have Xbox One. For the PlayStation family of systems, on the PlayStation 4, you have NBA 2K16 and Gone Home. Cool. I've been wanting to play Gone Home.
Great
on the console. Games. There you go. NBA 2K16, that's the one where they shoot the hoops with the baskets in the hole.
Yeah, humans with humans.
Humans.
Not cars.
Nope. Yeah. Human hoops. On the PS3, like something else. Echochrome, and then Siren Blood Curse. Those are for the PlayStation 3.
Echochrome is a great game. I played that on PSP.
Is it?
Super fun. Yeah, it's a perspective-based puzzle game. You control a little stick guy, and depending on how you turn the platform he's on, perspective makes it work differently and look differently. It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Never heard of it. Sounds interesting though.
Yeah.
And then for the PS Vita, you have God of War: Chronicles of Olympus and Little Deviants. So there you go. Those are all the free games for the month of June, brought to you by Sarah Complin Daycare.
Thanks, Sarah.
Moving along into our next topic, we have what we've been playing lately. So, Joshua, your letter A. So what have you been playing?
Which means I'm also number one.
Number one.
I've been, like I said, playing
Xbox One.
I've been playing the Rocket League.
Yep.
I've been spanking the people at Rocket League. No, I beat somebody real bad today. I beat somebody real bad the other day. I was saying it's so very satisfying when you just shut somebody down that's been talking a lot of crap. And I was able to do that, and it felt real good. Still waiting on Psyonix to fix that chat issue. Other than that, it's a real good game. Love it a lot.
He's not mad about it.
I'm getting there.
Not bitter.
Frustrated a little bit. I think since we spoke last on the podcast,
which was last week.
Right. Wink. Wink, wink. I think I've beat Uncharted 2 and 3.
Well done.
Since we spoke last on the podcast.
Nice.
And I'm gonna have to say, so far, 3 is definitely my favorite.
3's pretty good.
I know most people say 2 is the best, leading up to 4. And they've all been super solid games. I love them all so far. But 3 was really, really good. And I could tell there's a definite jump between 1 and 2. And there's not as big a jump between 2 and 3. However, I could tell that there were a few tweaks between 2 and 3 that I think were really smart. In that at least that I noticed, you couldn't throw grenades back in Uncharted 2, and you could do it in Uncharted 3, which was super cool.
Wait till you get to 4 where you can't do it anymore again.
Boo. Anyway, there's like little tweaks with the combat, little tweaks with the gameplay that I think were smart and I really liked. And the story overall was really fun. The only problem that I had with Uncharted 3, and it's been out for years, so I'm not worried about spoiling it. At the very end, there's no real big boss fight. Like at the end of 2, you've got that Russian guy. Can't remember his name now.
Slavovich or something like that.
Sure. I don't think that's right, but it's some Russian guy. The guy that wanted the sap from the tree of life so he could be whatever and super crazy strong and
it's close to that. Trust me.
You fought him, and like that was a very challenging fight because you had to like run by the oozing tree sap and blow it up and hurt him with it, and like that took me a while to get. And at the end of 1, I feel like there was a boss fight too, but I don't remember 1 as clearly. But at the end of 3, there's a lot of like set pieces and like crazy like environmental action and destruction. And there's like one little segment where it's like every other fist fight you've been in the game, but the guy has a knife this time. And so you have to like avoid the knife, and like it's a little bit of a different fight. And like there's a couple like quick cut scenes where you got to do something. But yeah, there wasn't any quick time. That's the word I was looking for. There wasn't any like big boss fight at the end of it, and it ended like because of that. I was expecting that, and then it ended kind of abruptly. And I was like, oh, I guess that's the end. But I still very much enjoyed that game. Number 3 all the way. And then I jumped back into MGSV a little bit this past week. I didn't do much in it.
How far are you in? I didn't see. I guess I didn't realize you had played at all.
The last time he mentioned it, he had just played through the prologue.
Okay.
Yeah, I had basically just gotten to the last time I played. I had just gotten to where, like, you go to your oil rig platform for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah, Mother Base, and like so.
Oil rig platform.
I looked. Whatever. I looked. I haven't played it as much as you guys yet. So I looked around there a little bit. I think I got my little puppy. So D-Dog is still a puppy. And so I went back out and I did a couple missions this time when I jumped in. Just little things. And I like it. I like the gameplay. It's a bit overwhelming, all of it. I don't like how non-linear it is. That's not what I want from a Metal Gear game, and I think that's the problem a lot of people had with it. I think that's why the PSP Metal Gear game ended up not being super popular, but it was okay too.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the most common problem people that had problems with it had.
That's what I meant. It was a wildly popular game. The people that didn't like it and expected to, the Metal Gear fans that didn't like it, I think the problem that they had with it was that it's a big departure from what the Metal Gear formula has been for years, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a good game, and I think it's probably a good entry point for somebody that hasn't played Metal Gear before to jump in.
Totally.
But
is that your first one?
No, my first one playing start to finish. Yeah.
But like not having played it for a while and then trying to get back in and remember like what's going on and how like, you know, I can choose missions, you know, and go wherever and do whatever. And like, there's the overworld map and all that stuff. It was a little overwhelming. So like, if I'm going to jump into it again, it needs to not be a game that I jump into like a mission at a time. So I'm going to have to make sure that I don't have much else to play and then get back into it.
Just hearing you talk about it like this makes me want to go play it again.
I was waiting for the moment to insert the fact that I've honestly considered getting this for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I haven't hit that point yet where it's like
I've got 170
get
hours
back in and play more.
Yeah, you've got to play. I mean, I don't remember the mission numbers, but when you're like 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, it really starts to get good, and then you hit a specific one.
But you also have to like that kind of game, though.
Yeah,
I do enjoy Metal Gear games, and I enjoy the gameplay, and I like that there are so many different ways to approach a mission and like different entry points into like different little bases and things. Like I like all that stuff. But I don't even see mission numbers. Like, to me, the whole like selecting a mission and doing it and knowing what's a story mission, quote unquote, and what's not a story mission, that's super ambiguous and not clear, at least in my opinion so far.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, though. Like, the yellow ones are your ones that matter to your story and you have to do. Like, they'll be yellow text instead of white. So you'll get all the white text ones where it's like, go kidnap this special operative. And that's to make your mother base better, which eventually you keep doing stuff like that, it'll unlock other missions.
Yes, some of those mandatory missions are part of your ongoing tutorial before it really opens up.
Right.
It's not necessarily – I should backpedal on that a little bit. It's not necessarily story-driven, but it's necessary if you're going to actually not make the game ridiculously difficult for yourself.
Teaching you how to play.
Right.
Maybe I just need to get further in, so that I understand a little bit better how to do it. It's also by no means a bad game.
It also becomes very enjoyable too once you really open up your buddies.
Yeah.
And the ability. So far, D-Dog's still a puppy.
So far, I've only got D-Horse.
Yeah. Well, he can poop on command.
Eventually.
I was going to say I haven't learned how to make him do that yet.
You can't do it right away. You've got to.
I saw a GIF of that somebody had made of a snake laying on the ground, and they forced D-Dog to poop on him, and then they rolled around in it.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's what they decided to put on the internet.
Why not?
Anyway, it's an all right game. And
it's fun.
I mean,
yes, it makes me want to go get it again.
I've finished Uncharted 2 and 3, which were the two games that I still had that I hadn't played yet.
When are you gonna get it?
I'm gonna jump into 4 at some point.
Now, tomorrow, today,
probably not now.
I
can't. Beside not having money to throw around at the moment, I also can't justify buying a new game when I've got other games I haven't even finished. So I'm working through my backlog a little bit, but I feel like Metal Gear is the next one that I can kind of focus on.
So
you I still have Fallout to finish too.
Oh man, you won't be getting pretty far for like 200 hours of gameplay.
I mean, like, I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with waiting. I've never been the guy that has to play it like right when it comes out. And I just finished 2 and 3, so it's not like I finished 3 years ago and have been waiting for 4.
Well, we're gonna have to do like a spoiler segment at some point. I've been dying to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to plug my ears or like sign off for that,
or like do like that separate and add it in at the end or something. Yeah. But cool.
That's all. Tactics. I think I forgot to mention tactics, but I'm still plugging away at that. Trying to get my main to be a Dark Knight, which is slow going, but I put in a battle or two here and there, earn some experience, and that's about all I'm doing in that lately. But still grinding away. But that's it.
All right, Dave, regale us with your list of PlayStation games that you've been playing.
As you know, Chad, I purchased a PS4 about a week or so back. And I also made several purchases and game shared several games and played a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them had to be the Uncharted collection. I played through 1, 2, and 3 in about 20 hours.
Marathon.
And then as of not our E3 show, but the week before that, I had I think this is perfectly fine to let the listeners know.
Okay.
That because of your traveling this month for vacation,
we
recorded episode 67 and episode 68 on the same night.
Correct. Because
the week after that, we didn't record a podcast.
Right.
So I did not get to really express my appreciation and my obsession with Uncharted 4 because it's been 2 weeks since then. Because what really happened was the night before episode 67, or the evening of episode 67, I put Uncharted 4 in. I played through the prologue, and I stopped, and we did the podcasts. And then, over the course of the next week, I platinumed it.
What?
You're blowing people's minds right now, Dave. First of all, with the fact that we recorded 2 podcasts at once, but in everybody else's world, it has been business as usual. And secondly, that you put in Uncharted 4 one night and had it platinumed a week later.
Yes. I think I finished the platinum on Sunday night. The night which would have been, not a full week later, but maybe Monday morning. It might have been. But yeah, I went through my first playthrough on normal or moderate, I guess was what it would have been. And so there's hard and crushing above it. So I went through there and I realized that, here's the 70% accuracy trophy I got to get. But aside from all that and the hidden trophies, which I knew I would go into a guide and look for, I made it a point to look for every trophy that I could find without going through an actual list of trophies. So by the time I got through my first playthrough, I had gotten 49 of them. Huh. And so I had 50. How many? Wait, there's over 60 more to go. There's 109.
There's 109. Yep.
So I got back into the game and started on crushing. So I would also get my hard playthrough. But because of those bonuses that you get, which make it really fun, I actually had a blast playing on crushing, where it was not really that difficult. I mean, there were some times where it was still like, okay, I gotta be a little bit more mindful. But the fact that you could basically turn into Neo from the Matrix and go into slow motion and just headshot, and see if I could spin around and headshot this guy before he even shoots me, like that was fun. And also that helped me get that accuracy rating. By the end of my crushing playthrough, I had also gotten all of my trophies, with the exception of maybe 7, and then got the accuracy. Went back, got the trophies, went back, did all of the different ones. I'd already gotten the multiplayer ones. And I did, for the record, for all you people out there, use the exploit to get the speed run. Because at that point, that would have been a third playthrough within 7 days. I just wasn't wanting to do that. I love that game.
We talked about that right on the podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And what I actually had to do was I had to uninstall my application of Uncharted 4.
Oh, that's what it was.
Reinstall it and decline the update until after I did that exploit. Gotcha. Because the patch did get rid of it. At least that's how it worked for me. I tried it, couldn't get it until I did all that. So got that platinum, and that's my first platinum ever for awesome. PlayStation.
That's a good first platinum.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. And eventually I'll go back and play it again. I'll keep it. And I probably will go back and try to platinum the other 3. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. I got some other stuff to play. I played quite a bit of Overwatch, which I've been enjoying. I've always been a Call of Duty player, which they're not the same at all, but they're other than their first-person shooters. But it is fun to play a game where you need to have people playing your roles in order to do a good job, and the ability to switch in and out in the middle of gameplay, and especially playing with your friends and playing with people that you can count on to actually do something and keep up their, pull their weight and everything. It's really interesting. There's been times where we've had, I think, 4, maybe 5.
I think we had 5.
I think 5. I think a couple of our Patreon supporters, Evan and Paco, Jacob Steele, and Chad and myself, and then one of their friends played, and it was fun. We enjoyed it. Had a good time. Couldn't get Isaac to do it.
Just like you can if you head over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer and support us.
Nice.
Yes. We very much can do that. But I also played some Heavy Rain, as I said. Had those issues there. Enjoyed it. Like I said, I played 3 characters. I was taken back by the police officer character. I did not expect there to be future tech like that in the game, and that was cool. So I'm excited to get. Like, I spent like probably 10 minutes just picking my office layout, like the virtual reality office that he chooses. Like, he goes into he uses this augmented reality eyewear that I guess only he has. And he's with the FBI. I'm not a police officer, sorry. He's with the FBI, working sort of with the police department there. And he goes into this little office they gave him that looks like crap. It's got this table and a chair. He pushes the table up to the wall, and he sits down, and he turns on his augmented reality, and all of a sudden you can pick either, like, your office either becomes like a big mountain scape, or you're underwater, or you're on like Mars. And the sound, it's actually really neat. I'm like, there's motion controls, which I don't like, the having to shake the controller. Like, that's annoying to me. There's sometimes where you literally have to shake the controller like this.
Stop doing that. Stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
This is a great video.
It's
Sorry
annoying
for everybody that's listening.
I don't know why they wanted to do it that way, but they did. But it's interesting. So that's, I will get back to that. I played Ratchet and Clank for a little bit, which is a really good looking game, fun game. I look forward to finishing that one. I played some Alienation with Chad and a couple random people. One guy that came in to grief kill over and over and over, invaded my game, forced the other random guy that had come in to leave because he kept getting killed. I killed the invader one time, and the guy kept coming in. Same guy kept coming back as many times as he could until I left the game. But it's very fun, which also I should mention at the same time that Chad and I played Helldivers today. Actually, with Evan jumped on for a little bit right before the podcast. And it's fun. It's different than how, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, Alienation, they're similar games. They are similar games as far as the type of game they are. But there are some contrasting differences. The role that multiplayer and just online play plays in Helldivers is a lot more
that's
influential.
Why I fell out of that game,
and it's very interesting to see like all the other ships there and how many people are in each world. And there were some people that would randomly come in to some of my games the first time I played it, and it's drop in and drop out. It's interesting. I can see us. At first it kind of took a little bit like to get used to, and the team damage and stuff is a cool, but sometimes frustrating way to. I mean, there were already we Chad and I went through the whole mission, got to the very end, and then I ran over to get something, and the dropship landed on me and killed me just right before we were ready to leave the map. And then I think I accidentally threw a grenade at Evan and downed him one time.
I killed myself with my own turret a few times.
I killed myself with my own drop pod.
Yeah,
called in worse stuff and just killed myself. I also played some Rocket League with Evan, and that game's it's just a blast no matter where you play it. Played some Tetris. Actually, I played some Tetris with Evan and 2 other people. Ended up getting 4-player Tetris online, and that got to be crazy.
Cool.
So it was definitely hard. Evan is better than me. I did beat him once, but again, I think that was when we had other people that were also adding to the chaos, sending lines over and all that stuff. Also played some. Oh yeah, this is the last one I wanted to mention was I had already purchased Hitman on my Xbox One. The prologue, that's all I had purchased because that was all that was available. But I liked it so much, and there was so much replay value that I played, and I thought, man, trophies. I'm starting to like these trophies. So I bought it on PS4, and I also bought the second DLC and the third DLC map. So now I have the prologue, which includes all the training levels, and then it includes the mission, the Paris, fashion show mission. Then there's a mission Sapienza where you got to deal with this this rich cartel guy. I don't know if he's actually cartel, and then this scientist, some type of biological weapon that they're doing. And then there's one in Makara. I can't remember if that's the name of it. Marrakesh, maybe. I haven't even gotten to that one yet. I turned it on just for a second because Chad hasn't played it at all. So with game sharing, Chad now gets all that stuff that I've purchased. Woo-hoo! So he'll get to check that out. So I showed him a little bit of it. And one of the first things he notices, which he and I both like, going back to the Metal Gear thing, lots of different challenges and different ways to approach different stuff. And it's as much as like 102 in one of the missions. Different things you can unlock, different entry points into this mission that you can unlock, different exit points that you can unlock, different drop points to smuggle in items that you can't necessarily take right in the front door. Different challenges, different targets as it goes along. There's a lot of replay value, at least for somebody like me, because I played that same mission on my Xbox One over and over and over and over, trying to do different things, and I never got tired of it. Talking about, I used the word meticulous, which actually to me made sense with something like Hitman. I mean, you're an assassin, and he's a very meticulous. You got to wait for this guy, watch these patrol routes, wait for this guy to get here so you could take this guy out here, because you need to take this guy out way over here in the back corner of this, garden or something. And there's a guard walking toward him. So you can't take him out. You got to take the guard out first. Well, now there's another guard that sees this guard. So you got to try to take this guard out and then take this guard out. But you can't leave their bodies there because somebody will see them. But you still got to get this guy before he takes himself out of play. So I did all this stuff kind of haphazardly because I'd already done it and I was just showing him. And took him out, didn't need to kill him, snapped his neck just for the heck of it, dumped his body in the river, took his clothes, made a phone call on his phone to one of the targets, said, yeah, I'm going to come up and meet you. She's like, don't come and meet me yet. Go do your fashion show thing, to where you can actually, as Agent 47, take this model's clothes, go in, get makeup done, and go walk out on the runway and do an actual art runway walk. A catwalk in front of the audience.
That's the question I was going to ask. Is the game still like in that the thing still exists where even though you're a bald guy with a barcode tattooed on the back of your head, you can literally just change clothes and people are like, oh, okay, that guy's that guy now. Like,
yep. There are exceptions where some of the costumes have hats. But yeah, a lot of times you're a bald guy with a barcode that nobody notices. The makeup guy, for example, is an entire head is makeup to white with like black things on it. So the barcode's kind of covered up, but it's still Hitman. I was still, talking to Chad for the sake of most of the people in Hitman's, their point of view stops at their eyebrows. So like you're crawling up a pipe and you're like 10 feet above them and they just can't see you. They're facing you, but they don't notice there's a guy in a waiter's outfit hanging from a pipe on the side of a mansion. And nobody notices that.
Every once in a while, don't do that.
Yeah, every once in a while, you're scaling a ledge, and maybe a bystander will say, "Oh, you're crazy! What are you doing?" But then that's it, and you just keep scaling all the way across the building, climb up over here. But as far as it's Hitman the same way that was. You take their clothes, you hide their bodies. You can't leave a gun laying on the ground. If a guard sees it, he'll not necessarily raise an alarm, but it will change the course of action for that person.
Right.
He'll go take this. He'll take it to a secured area. It's not supposed to be there. You can actually hide guns in like trash bins if you need to, because there's some places you need to go where they frisk you. You can't have your gun on you. So you go, dump your gun into this trash can temporarily, go get frisked, go juju, come back. If you want your gun, you can take it back out. Lots of different ways to approach this. I really liked it. And there's no platinums right now, but I'm assuming that's because the entire game is not available. I'm hoping once everything is downloaded that there will be a platinum for finishing everything. As of right now, there's not.
It's good to have Dave as part of the PlayStation family now.
It's. I like the platinums better than the gamer score. I just like it. I don't know if it. I think it's twofold. I think it's because they're more appealing the way that they just have it set up, the trophies versus now. Xbox now has trophies by name, but it's still gamer score.
Yeah, it feels collectible.
Yeah, but also I think the fact also plays in is that all my friends are much closer to me. Like Chad is like, as far as gamer score goes, just ridiculously out of reach. I can't compete with him. I mean, I think I have like, I don't know, maybe 80,000 games. I think he has only like 100,000 more. Some ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm at like 176,000.
Yeah, so there's no way I could do that. I mean, there's like 1,000 per game of gamer score. Some have more, but that's, can't do that. It's like 170 games.
Yeah.
So, but trophies, maybe I can do that. Currently we both have the same number of platinums, so we'll see. Now Chad's going to get another one, but the platinum that I have is for Uncharted 4. The platinum Chad has is for Rocket League, which
that's a hard platinum.
I'm going to get that one.
That's definitely not
my work.
There are things about that platinum, like you have to make a pull shot goal, which is crazy hard.
Knocking somebody into the ball, no, easy.
Making a goal though with that,
done it a bunch on Xbox. I could do.
All right, I'm just saying that's not a poo platinum.
I've already scored in reverse. I've already gotten my like a bunch of other trophies. Done my hat tricks. Done my flips.
I mean,
hey, you're looking at a natural.
I guess because that was not an easy
Obviously.
platinum for me to get. I got it, but
I'm probably going to platinum Ratchet. I think. I'd like to platinum, like I said, the Uncharted collection. We'll see what happens. I'm hesitant to say that I will platinum the Uncharted collection because I don't know how well it will work going backwards now. But if who knows? Once they start popping, it might just all just come. There we go. Let's do it. That's all I need.
It's addiction.
That's all I need.
Cool.
I'm also going to see how many trophies I can get in Super Meat Boy just for the heck of it, because nobody else is doing that.
Game's hard. I tried it a little bit. All right, for me, I played a lot of where we talked about already, Uncharted 4. I played that a little bit. I am on vacation, so I did experiment with and try for the first time remote play on the PC with both consoles, the Xbox and the PlayStation, and it works good. It works good. It's a little laggy. Doesn't look as good as it does on your TV. But like it would be hard to play like Overwatch or Call of Duty or even Rocket League because it's just not as precise. There's just a little bit of lag.
Where can you tell where the lag comes from? Is it from where your console is connected, or is it from where your PC is connected, or is it just the communication between the two?
I think it's a communication between the two. Now I was Wi-Fi on both, so that might be part of it too. But playing a multiplayer on the console itself was fine. Right. But then when I would try to Wi-Fi remote play on the PC, I definitely I played a match of Rocket League and I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up. Like it wouldn't respond as fast as I was trying to make it respond. So I went back and I just started to play back through Uncharted 4 and I finished my crushing playthrough of that.
That's cool.
So I mean, it's nice because I'm at my in-laws' house. They have a pool and the kids are out of the pool and my father-in-law is there watching TV. And I don't really be like, all right, I'm going to play a game, and use his TV. And they only have one other TV in their bedroom. And I'm not going to be like, hey, can I go in your bedroom and play my video games? So I just...
It'd be like being 10 again.
Right, exactly. So he's sitting there on his TV, watching the news or whatever. And I'm just over here, got my laptop up and connect my controller to the USB and just playing away. So it was nice to do that. That was fun. So I did do that. I like Dave mentioned, we played Alienation and Helldivers. I did try a little bit of the Goat Simulator through the remote play, which is a real weird game. My son was watching. He's like, I want to try this thing. And then Overwatch I played. That is a lot of fun. I understand your saying or your thoughts on, not having any single-player component or story mode or anything like that. The only thing I'll say about that is I don't think this game needs a story. That's not the purpose of this game, and I know you know that. The reason I say that I think it's still worth the $60 even without only having multiplayer, similar to Battlefront, right? Battlefront was a multiplayer game only. I think that's worth it if you're a Star Wars fan. Like if you like Star Wars and you love the sights and sounds of Star Wars, you should get that game regardless of story. Would it be better with the story mode in part? Sure, that would be fun. But if you like Star Wars, you should play that game. Overwatch, like Dave mentioned, it's a team-based game, so it's more depth than even Call of Duty is. Like, okay, get your favorite gun and go learn the abilities and learn how to shoot and just run around killing people. This game is not that. Like, if you play that way, you're not helping your team. Yeah. If you play Overwatch like you play Call of Duty or like you play Halo or like you play any multiplayer online shooter, you will not do well. You will not be a fan. Your team will not be your fan. So there are 4 different roles that you play. You play a tank, you play a defender, you play a support, you play a healer. And depending on how your team dynamic is, you're going to want to change the way you play or the way the match is going. You may need to change up the way you play. And you can change your character at any point in the game. You could change to a different character within the role. You can change your role completely and entirely if you'd like. And it literally takes everybody playing what their character is supposed to do and working together to win. So the reason it's not just like, if they charged $60 for Call of Duty Online and that's all you got, you'd feel a little shortchanged. There's more depth in this than there are in some single-player games. Like, there's just more to it.
I can definitely see the complexity. I think I really enjoyed the beta. And like I could see myself spending time playing this game. It's just like if Rocket League had been $60, even for the amount of time that I've spent playing that game, I would not have bought that game for $60. I'm never going to feel justified buying a game at full price that I'm only ever going to be able to play really online with other people. And there are offline components to Rocket League, and there were offline components to like Battlefront.
So regardless of necessarily the price, I guess you just at full price, as what we know, full price game, you would never pay a full price for something that doesn't have a story single player mode.
Like in my mind, and maybe this is just me being, like a stickler for. Not a stickler, but like nostalgic for how things used to be, quote unquote, a few years ago, like before multiplayer got huge. But like, I don't care that much for online or social gaming. There are games that I do it with, like Rocket League, but even then, I'm getting paired up with randoms and playing the game, and I can play as long or as short as I wanted to. And I know with games like Overwatch, like there's matchmaking and you play online with other people. And I think I would enjoy that, but paying full price for a game that only has that functionality, that's really hard for me to justify in my mind. I may be totally wrong on that, and like that may be a wrong way to look at it. For
that game specifically, I don't know what else they could do to it to add that value to it. And I know that's
it's not even
looking for.
It's not even that I want Overwatch to have a story mode. That's not my point at all. There's something about a developer charging full price for a game that only really has online functionality. I think it's a bad look, and I don't see myself ever paying full price for a game that has. I don't think
I understand what you're saying, and that's for what you would do. I get for what you're saying and how you're coming at it, why you would do that. But as far as the bad look goes, like I said, this game, the multiplayer component of it, that's all there is, because again, this good game couldn't be anything different. But there's so much there. It's the dynamic is there that it's not just a multiplayer game. Like when I look at it, because I've never really. Like even looking at Defiance, which was a kind of MMO game back in the day.
Yeah.
For me to look at it, there's no story mode. I like story modes. I love Uncharted. I love Mass Effect. Those are story-driven games, and they're well worth the $60. This game is completely different, but I don't look at it as it just has multiplayer only, and that's the only way I can play, and it's that's not giving me the value. And I know that's an individual assessment, like what's valuable. $60 worth of valuable individually.
Yeah.
But to say it's only multiplayer or that it's a bad look on them, I guess I have a hard time seeing that.
I think it has to come down, like what you said, individually. I mean, they have to look at, do they think that they're going to, make their money on this game, selling it at this price point? And you look at a game like Uncharted, which is a incredible work of labor and love as far as this studio, Naughty Dog, putting their passion into this great story, this franchise they've had that people are crazy about. One of the best games currently on any console right now. I mean, incredible. And most people will only put 15 to 20 hours into it.
Mm-hmm.
We look at a game like Overwatch, which doesn't have any campaign, literally hundreds to over 1,000 hours some people will put into this game.
Because that's
that's what they like. Now, when you look at it that way, if you pay $60 for 15, 20 great enjoy, I have no problem paying that for that. But then you have some of the people that I'm going to get, 500 hours. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I put 170 hours into Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's playing by myself. This is, we talk about all the time, game nights. The biggest draw is, oh man,
being together,
Tuesday night, Thursday nights,
out,
talking to the guys all day, getting together, being stupid online, yelling, screaming. The camaraderie, getting together with your team.
Would that change it for you, Josh? Like if that were like you say, you don't really play the multiplayer online thing a lot, but like if you had a group of guys that you enjoyed hanging out with and liked talking with, and you all had a night where like, all right, tonight's the night we play whatever, would that change it for you at all?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I've never had that.
Right.
Like I've played online with people, but I've never had like a group of guys that's friends, like, this is our game night, and we play this or whatever this night every week or whatever. Right. I don't know. Like it might just because like if I've got a bunch of guys that are like, okay, we want to play this game every whatever Saturday night or every Friday night, or every Thursday night, and I don't have the game, then if it was Overwatch, for instance, and everybody's like, we want to play Overwatch as a group every Thursday night, that might make me go out and get Overwatch just so I could play it with those guys. But in my mind, I still don't like, if that wasn't the case, never would I spend full price.
That makes more sense. See, when you put it that way, that makes a lot more sense to me, because I agree with you in that aspect. Like having a group of guys, like Dave said, play together makes a game. It's more about than just the game you're playing now. Now it's about, I'm playing with people I enjoy talking to, and we get along well. And then when we play together, we usually win, and we usually play well, and we complement each other. And I think like with Overwatch, we had a couple guys in the community that have it. Isaac has it.
Yeah.
And I knew, okay, supposedly, and he fell asleep before he could really confirm. But I knew Isaac supposedly had it. I knew Dave was going to have it because now I have it digitally. And I knew we had a few guys in the community that had it, the Steel Brothers specifically. So I knew, okay, if I get this on Xbox, I knew one person that had it. That's my friends. And I'm like, okay, that's, even if it's just me and him playing, it's more fun with more. But then I looked at the PlayStation 4 and I was like, okay, I know me and Dave will have it if I get it. So there's two already. And Isaac has it, and then these other guys. So I knew that I could probably have a good crew to run with. And so that made it, because when you mention it that way, I was kind of on the fence about it. But then when I knew I had a group that I could probably play with frequently, that pushed me over the edge.
I think it's just really comes down to the worth of the experience to the gamer. I mean, there's nothing wrong at all with Josh not finding it worth it.
Of course,
to do that. But I mean, there's some people pay $40-$50 to play a round of golf. Some people pay over $100, $200 to go see a basketball team.
Sure.
For an hour and a half
But that's value to them.
2 hours, 3 hours. Yeah, and that's not to say that I wouldn't have fun doing that with some friends, but I can't remember the last time I golfed. The last time I paid to go to a sports game, I couldn't tell you. That doesn't mean I wouldn't like it, the experience.
Yeah, you're right.
But to me, it's not something I want to spend my money on. So it could make perfect sense for somebody who that's not really what draws them to think that's not worth it. So I can totally agree with that. I mean, I don't agree with it being. I definitely would think you'd be in the minority as far as thinking it's a bad look for Blizzard.
I definitely know I'm in the minority. I know I'm in the minority about all of this. Like most people enjoy playing online. Most people enjoy playing online with their friends, and I'm kind of a video game hermit. That's not my thing. Like that's never motivated me really to play games. And so playing, having a game night, for instance, would be much more of a social thing than a video game thing if I were to do something like that. So I know I'm in the vast minority. And I know that most people don't think it's a bad look for an online only game to be full price. And that's the way things are going, and that's not going to change. That's going to become the norm, I think, for a lot of developers and games. But I don't know. Maybe it's just something in my head. It doesn't sit right with me. I don't like it.
And that's okay.
I think that's what it is. You just don't like it.
Yeah,
and that's
which
all right.
is fine.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't mean to get off on that.
No, you're right. It's definitely an individual assessment of value. Like, I'm going to pay this amount of dollars for this amount of value, and if I don't feel like those match up, then I'm not going to play.
I think the social aspect is the huge thing, which makes the difference.
That adds value to it.
Because you get together with a certain group of people. Because randoms, it doesn't always do it. So you can get away with playing, play randoms every once in a while, but it really comes together when you have your friends. I mean, it's something even like, okay, yeah, there's 5, 6 of us. We're going to get together, go get a cabin out and whatever. We're each going to pay $20, $30 and hang out and watch sports or whatever we're going to do. I mean, what is your time with other people worth to you? So if you're not going to play with anybody else, it's not worth it at all. Like, it'd be dumb.
Yeah. This is a weird thing, maybe just in my mind again, but for a game like that, I would definitely consider paying like $40. I had no problem paying $15 for Rocket League. So I don't know, you get into discussions about price points and what full price means and pricing strategy for video games. And The Witness was a big deal because it was a $40 game. And so people were like, does that mean it's going to be a subpar video game? And it ended up being fantastic, at a $40 price point. But there were speculations that being $40 hurt the image of that game because it wasn't $60. Sure. So video game pricing and the strategy that goes into that is weird anyway. And so maybe a game like Overwatch, they know it would be a bad image. I said it's a bad look for an online only game to be full price, but maybe they're coming from the perspective of, well, it makes it look like not a great game if it's only $40.
Look at Battleborn.
Yeah, it's just that
probably is the weird price dropped, but that's what people associate it with.
So that sounds weird, and so from the optics of it, that perspective, I think I get it. But
all right. Well, my final game that I played was Doom.
I'm excited about this one.
I redboxed that guy, and Dave got it in the GameFly mail today.
Yeah.
So that game,
I'm gonna play it right now.
Oh, let's wait a little bit. Okay. So Doom is, if you ever played old school Doom, the kind of the granddaddy of shooters, really. That and Wolfenstein.
Yep.
And I played
grandfather.
Yeah. Okay. I played some of that. I played some Doom 64. And things like that. And, so I played them, but I didn't have that nostalgia that some guys do have for that. But I wanted to be part of, to experience this game, but I didn't want to pay $60 for it because I knew It had a multiplayer also, but I knew I probably wasn't going to touch that. I played the beta, which I couldn't talk about if you remember on the podcast, and it wasn't that great at the time. I didn't really love it. But I
was the beta the multiplayer?
Yeah, beta was only the multiplayer.
And everybody's saying that's by far the weakest part of the game.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which it can be fun. Again, I can understand it can be fun, but it's not its strong suit. But then I heard, and it was on I have a list of games that I like are on my radar. It was on my radar. Then I heard, it's good, but I don't know. So I was like, well, I'm probably not going to buy it. And then I heard everyone talking, all the podcasts I listened to, just over the moon about how awesome this game was, how just the best Doom. It's what you want. And just hearing people talk about it, I'm like, okay, I would like to play the single player because I want to experience it, but I don't want to pay $60 for it. So Redbox had it for $3? So I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. And I had a day off, and I sat through and I played through it all in a night and half a day.
Wow.
I think it took me 12 hours to get through completely. YouTube, get a show with Dave there. Dave is laying on his bed looking for something. So, yeah, I played through it all in like 12 hours or so. I expected it to be a little bit shorter. Honestly, I thought maybe 8 hours to 10. And I think it was a little bit more than 12 by the time I finished. Huh. And the main thing I noticed about this game, it is fast. Like
everybody keeps using that word, and I don't understand what that means.
Okay, well, when you go to run, you're playing Call of Duty, you're playing Halo, you run, right, and you have a sprint button, you run a little faster, right, and the action moves at a pace that kind of matches that. This game, the action moves at a blinding fast pace. Your speed of running is faster than you're running in Call of Duty or Halo. Gotcha. Like you run, like when you move, you're moving fast. So it's nonstop action, like high octane all the time. And where you play Call of Duty or other games like this, a lot of times you'll sit back and pick people off as they come, pick the enemies off. This game, they want you to play fast. They want you to run into the enemies. They want you to go head first into the action, because those glory kills, as they call them, where you hit an enemy enough, they get stunned. They're not quite dead by shooting them. You can shoot them again and kill them, or you can go up to their stun state and basically hit I think it's the right trigger you click, and it enables an animation where you just rip its jaw off, you rip its arm off and smash it over the head with it. You knee it in the chin. I mean, there's all these things that you do that just dismember this demon, and you get health for it, and you get ammo for it, because your health does not regenerate. Your ammo runs out, and you have to pick up new ammo. So sometimes the only way you can do that is by going up and just beating the crap out of demons and killing them that way. So it encourages you to just rush headfirst into the thick of the enemies.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, because I heard somebody else say the same thing. I think it was Jeff Gertzman.
Yeah.
When he was talking about it, and he said the same thing. Like where other games reward cautious, careful gameplay, this game smartly rewards gameplay that's like super brash and like just going at it nonstop and like totally like neglecting self-preservation and that whole instinct in a video game, and just running at enemies and like doing crazy stuff. And I think that's awesome.
And there are times that you have to, if you wait or step back, you will die, because you just won't be able to get that health, or you're sitting still too long. And I mean, it's over the top, and they know it. It's not in a weird campy way, but it's done well. I mean, you start off the game and you kill an enemy like within the first minute, less than like the first 15 seconds, you're killing demons. That's and awesome. you basically wake up on a table chained down, and you find out you were like worshipped as a deity by these people, and then the demons got there and it killed all the demons, and basically you wake up and there's one. They kind of leave us room for a sequel to Doom 2 or whatever they were going to call it, I guess.
Right.
But you wake up and you get yourself all these chains, and you just like bash these demons in the face before you even get off the table.
It's
before
the
you
same.
Even find your suit.
It's still Doom guy, right? Like it's the same.
It's still Doom guy. It's generic Doom Marine Doom guy. You go, you find your suit encased in like this shrine and tomb. It's on the wall. You just take the helmet off, put it on, and like the the funny thing about this game is like the nicest thing in this game is this little robot that reminds me of like something from Wall-E, where this robot floats and it's holding this little box, and you go find it and you can spend points to upgrade your guns or upgrade your weapons. You upgrade your weapons or unlock different like modes for the gun. So like if you have a shotgun, you can unlock a exploding, shotgun shell. So you go up and you buy these things from this little robot, and it's basically got like two little arms and it's carrying this little box. And you go up to it and you grab it, or you go and you click on it, and it brings up a menu. You buy what you're supposed to buy, and then he yanks the box out of this droid's hands and just punches it in the face. And it just goes brrr, and it just kind of hangs there with sparks flying out of it, and he walks away.
So he's like, still got the uncontrollable rage. Yeah,
he just doesn't care. Like, and then there's one part, it's like, all right, push this button on this machine. We need to keep this stuff. And he just breaks it by punching it. He's like, no, you can't do that. We need, like, this other voice saying, no, we need to keep this. This is energy. It can help us with this and that. And he, like, thinks for a second and just, like, breaks it all the way. And they're like, no, you can't do that. And you got, like, 3 of these you have to do. And he just bashes all of them. He never says a word the entire game. No dialogue from him at all. Just a lot of killing and a lot of smashing. And it was fun. I thought the game was over 3 times. Like, I got to a boss, I'm like, oh, this has got to be it. Died. And I played on the easiest difficulty, too, which is a little discouraging. I was like, die. Oh, I killed him. That's not the end. Okay. Got another level or 2. Oh, this must be the end guy. Holy cow, he was really big. All right, I died. Okay, I figured it out. Kill him. Oh, that's got to be – oh, no, that's not the end either. Okay, crap. And so you finally get to the end guy, and it's like, holy cow. There's one big, huge dude. You fight him. You have to figure out his patterns. You jump in and all this. You defeat him. I'm like, oh, that's got to be it. Okay, it just split into 2. Now there's 2 of the exact same thing. At that point, I'm like, how am I going to kill this thing? And I'm on the easiest difficulty?
Yeah.
So you'll have to tell me if you feel that same way, Dave, when you play it. But then I finally beat it. I was like, oh, I think I had a headache by the end. I was so tense and stressed.
Is there heavy metal playing like the whole time?
It's the most metal demon game ever. It's like if you're into metal, like I'm not.
It's metal, but if you're AF.
Oh my goodness! It pumps you up. It is what you expect it to be. But like, even like when you're shooting the guns, it changes. Like it almost is in like rhythm of like your weapons.
That's cool.
It's subtle, but if you pay attention, it's there, and it's a fast paced. You're in hell. You're on Mars. Everything's red, and it's metal like crazy. And there's this one perk you can get. There's perks on the maps where you go, and there's one, and they're timed. They only last for a little long. It's one called Berserker, and he puts his guns away and he walks around like this, and everything's a one punch kill. That's cool. And it's brutal. It's not just like boom and they die. He's like smashing his hand through faces, and even the toughest enemies in that level, you can one punch kill them. And it's the most awesome feeling ever.
I'm seriously considering red boxing it this weekend.
I would recommend it.
I have Friday off. I was thinking, man, I should just red box that game.
Yeah.
And you said you were going to, and I was like, that's probably the way to go.
I would say it's probably going to take you 12 hours. I mean, I didn't take my time. I died a bunch. 12 hours, I think, seems to be the kind of median where it takes. I found some secrets. There are some really cool Easter eggs. You find like little Doom Marine dolls, and he fist bumps one of them, and they unlock stuff for you, and they're fun. You even have to get blue cards and yellow cards to open doors, just like old school. So, yeah, red box I think is the way to go, unless you just really, 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 really love Doom
or GameFly,
however you can get it cheap. So, yeah, there we go. That's what I've been playing.
Cool.
This week.
Good list.
Yeah, so we've been going for a while already. It is getting late, and we've got one more segment since Isaac bailed on us for the Game Scoops 20 questions he was supposed to be here for.
Isaac.
I have one.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't think we've gone too long so far? Okay.
No.
2 more topics left, guys.
This isn't. I mean, this shouldn't be ridiculous. This topic.
Okay. So here's the topic that interests us. That's where you enter Josh's. Music replays.
I have edited
And you
before.
can cut all this out. So this topic is made possible by our Patreon subscribers. And if you'd like to be a Patreon subscriber that gets mentioned on the show, you can head over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer, like these people did. Mr. Evan Steele, aka General Lee, accepted. His brother Jake Steele, aka Paco, the wonderful Mr. Andrew Kompelin, Mr. Ryland Aller, and last but certainly not least, the lovely, wonderful smelling Cecilia Margaret Choi.
Okay.
Those people all went over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer, tossed us a few bucks, and we are very grateful. Thank you to all of those people. So the topic that I was actually thinking about this before we got on the podcast, and as luck would have it, the first item under news you can use if you so choose was that Rocket League has made over $110 million so far. And I was actually planning on bringing this up. So Rocket League specifically, but I've experienced this with other games. I have played Rocket League. I think I got it last November during like a Black Friday like flash sale on the PlayStation Network or something like that. And I've played it at least once a week since, usually several times a week, hours a week. And it's still just as much fun. Like if we stop the podcast and I like go to play my PS4, I'm probably going to play Rocket League. Like I'll probably play Rocket League tonight. And every time I jump in, I have as much fun, if not even more fun, playing now than I did when I first started, because now I know how to play the game. I'm like fairly good at it. And like I can, I can make shots that I couldn't make before, and like passes, and now there's more strategy involved in like a seemingly simple game on the surface, and like once you play it more, it gets more complex. And so I'm if possible having more fun playing it now than I did when I started playing the game. So I was wondering.
No, it's just, I have a question. Is this you playing against bots, or do you try that overrated online thing that you?
Oh no.
No, I play online.
I'm just kidding.
But I paid a quarter of the full price.
He wrecks kids.
I do.
He wrecks kids.
Underpaid. I can think of a few games like that for me that I keep going back to over and over and over and over again, and I don't get tired of them. So I was wondering if you guys had games like that, what those games were, and why you think that is, because that's not a common thing, I don't think, for a lot of gamers. I think like quote unquote gamers, a lot of them don't even finish most of the games that they buy. They put a few hours into a ton of games and a lot of hours into a few games. So I was wondering, what games like that do you guys have, and why you think it is that you keep going back to them?
Me?
Go ahead.
I didn't hear the hand gesture. I would say that The Last of Us is one of those games for me where I've played through that game completely 4 times. I've played through the DLC twice. I now own it on my own PS4 and definitely will play through it again. That game is incredible, and I've enjoyed every single playthrough. And it's a single-player game, and it's a linear game, and it's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. There's something about, Uncharted 4, amazing, and I will play, I'll play around with that probably again, but I don't, there's not a drawback to it like The Last of Us. I just think the story, the gameplay, everything as a whole really draws me back. Another game going back into the old school generation is Link to the Past, Zelda Link to the Past. I love playing that game. When my buddies had a 3DS and said, "Hey, there's this game called Link Between Worlds. It's basically Link to the Past, and it's kind of like redone it." And I was like, give me that. Like, I have to play that. And it was like, oh man, this is awesome. I love this story.
Yeah.
I wish I had an SNES just to play that, and maybe Super Metroid for the heck of it. But I could always go back and play Legend of Zelda. And then if I have to, I want to like give a shout out to, because we were talking about them earlier, the online multiplayer games. Like those, like as long as I have that group of friends that say, hey, do you want to get together and play this? Yes, I'll go back and play it. We're talking about going back and playing the remastered Modern Warfare 1, which,
yeah,
I mean, I would love to do that. Games like Overwatch. It would depend if I have friends to make it fun. I will always go back and do that, no matter what it is. So that's kind of cheating, just saying multiplayer in general, but it's really fun. Hitman's even like that for me too.
Yeah,
that's a completely different game, and I don't rank it with The Last of Us at all or Legend of Zelda, but the replay value is incredible for me. But definitely The Last of Us is probably at the top. For me anyways.
Hey, that's a hand gesture segue to me. There's a lot of games that I could throw on there. Probably the top one for me, no surprise to anybody that knows or has talked to us or heard us talk, Skyrim is way up there for me. That of all my Xbox 360 games, I still have that one. And I don't think I have any other 360 game besides that one. And I think I've started about 4 characters on that, played through almost all the way. And then I did every single mission you could possibly do in that game, side missions, everything, all the dragons, all that stuff. And yeah, Skyrim's got to be up there on the top. I didn't think about the multiplayer aspect until you mentioned that, but yeah, the Call of Duties, think about all the hours you put in Modern Warfare 2, and I know, Josh, you did that too.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, if that game was still, if that was remastered or whatever, and that was available again, I'd probably sink a lot of hours into that again and never get bored. Yeah, those are the top 2. And the one more recent one that I haven't played as much as I would have liked to lately, but every time I go to play it, I just have a blast, is Diablo 3.
Yeah, that's a great game too. I hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah, and it never gets old. Even though you're doing the same things,
yeah,
you can do a different character, and then when you play with friends again, it's so much fun. It's just great. There's so much good things about that. But yeah, why is that though? That's a good part of that question. Why? Yeah. What about those specific games makes you keep coming back for more? And a lot of it, I think, is just personal taste. You talk about Rocket League. I love Rocket League too, but I haven't put anywhere near the amount of time in as you or Dave or a lot of our friends. But I really like it, and it's more fun when I play with you guys. But what about? I mean, Skyrim just hit the nerve for me. I'd played Oblivion a little bit, but I didn't get it. Like I didn't quite get what that was until Skyrim came, and it just struck a chord that just held on and was like, oh, this is my jam, and I will play this all the time. So why? I don't know what it is about that. I think it's a personal thing because none of us really mentioned the same game, and they're all very different.
I'd like to throw one more honorable mention in there.
How dare you, sir?
To the Grand Theft Auto games, where and Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013.
Might have been 12.
Well, yeah, it's current gen came out in 2013.
Right.
Yeah, it came out in 2012 and then ported it over, and it is. And I wanted to bring this up too because I just remembered they're just coming out with some new DLC,
right,
which is something that not exactly the thing I've been wanting, but really close to the thing I've been wanting. And first I'll tell you what I wanted was something like some type of drug ring that you could run, like become Walter White, or and it's where other people in the game are constantly trying to, and it's not something that one person could just come up within 10 minutes and wreck your whole thing. No, I mean, like, you could build an empire that you have to stay on top of because other people are trying to topple you and be the kingpin. But now they brought out something that I can't remember what the DLC is called, but it's to where you can actually become like the CEO. You can build a business, a legal, like whatever legal. I haven't gotten that into much detail, but you can hire an assistant to run it. You can plan things, and there's new cars you can buy now, and you can compete with other people to basically run the city. And that's going to make me go back and play it. Like I was looking at it this week and thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get back and jump on Grand Theft Auto 5. And one of the good things with Rockstar in that aspect, they had a lot of trouble when their game first came out, and they have not charged for any of their DLC,
right?
Which has been awesome, and because they've come out with some real great stuff to add to that. And Grand Theft Auto Online is really a very cool gaming, community, or just gaming in general. The whole idea of being able to go out there, it's leaps and bounds better than what it was in Grand Theft Auto 4. It's just it's incredible. I really like it, and I'm gonna actually go back and play it again. I have it. I've never gotten rid of it, and I go back to it periodically, checking different things. I have one or two people that I play with it all the time.
Right.
So that's cool. But games like that, yeah, the replay value in those games, when it comes down to it, is I think either comes down to very deep immersion, for people that just love getting lost, like Skyrim, for example.
Right.
Or a very good loop, or a very good multiplayer. Very good, just
yeah. I think the loop
to do with your friends.
I think the loop is definitely a huge part of it. For me, it's games like Rocket League. I love that game, and Final Fantasy Tactics is a great game. Chad mentioned Skyrim. I love playing the Fallout games, Fallout 3 and 4, even New Vegas. And right up to Fallout 4 being released, I went back and I was playing through New Vegas over again. And games like Diablo, Torchlight on the PC was so much fun. Torchlight 2, Divinity Original Sin, and like Borderlands. Like I'm playing through Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I've played Borderlands 1 and 2 twice, all the way through each. I think for me, what it is that keeps me coming back to these games is the reward never gets any smaller for playing them. Like Dave, you were mentioning playing through Uncharted 4, and you'll probably go back and mess around with it, but you've gotten most of what you're going to get out of that game. Like you were told a story, which was a great story, but you're never going to be able to go back and not know that story and be told that story again. Like that's why you play an Uncharted game. And The Last of Us is similar, but I see what you're saying with the gameplay and the story being so good. Like there are movies that you watch over and over again, and so like for some people, I'm like, that's an awesome game to go back and play. And I'll probably go back and play that through again at some point too. But for me anyway, I think games like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas, Skyrim, Diablo, Torchlight 2, games like those, even the Borderlands games, every time I play through, it's going to be the same. They have a story that they're based around, but it's the loot that I'm getting from those, maybe then playing with different characters, and I'm always going to play through a little differently, and so I'm getting the same amount of reward every time I play that I got the first time I played. And then going to games like Rocket League or the online games like the Call of Duty games, Modern Warfare 2, I think the same thing applies there. And you're not necessarily unlocking new loot every time, because when you play through Call of Duty, you play all the way through, unlock everything, and then you prestige and go back through and unlock everything again. So you're unlocking the same stuff, but I think the reward there is the fact that you're good at it now. And so when you play, it's rewarding to play against other people and know that you have mastered this game better than this person that you're playing against. And sometimes you lose, and I think that adds to the reward when you come back the next time and like you kick somebody's butt, like I was talking about earlier today with Rocket League. So it's interesting, like especially when we talk about like value for price paid. I've gotten way more than my value out of Rocket League, and that's definitely an individual thing, but it's just an interesting thing to look at. Like what the games are that you continuously play over and over again, and like what it is about that game that makes you come back. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's a good topic for sure.
Cool.
That topic.
All right.
Brought to you by our lovely Patreon subscribers.
Thank you, Patreon. Okay, moving on. This is the last segment of the evening before I drive 3 more hours home. Not home, to my in-laws and lose an hour.
Hey, man.
Oh, man.
You're a trooper. That's why they love you, Chad.
Mm.
The only reason.
Getting tired just thinking about it. Okay, so game scoops. 20 questions.
Go. Be-doop.
That's a good one.
All right. So
You sounded like the Cookie Crisp guy for a second.
Yeah.
Cookie Crisp. All right. So Dave has stood in for Sleeping Beauty Isaac Ali and has chosen the game for us to choose to discuss and discover. Josh, go ahead and start us off.
Dave.
Yes.
Was this game published before January 1st, 2000?
No.
Before 2000, no. Was it published before 1990?
Wait.
January 1st, 1990.
The first question
It wasn't,
was...
it wasn't
before.
published.
Sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to type and do that at the same time. So no, was it? Pretend that didn't happen.
Okay.
Dave,
Yes.
is this game on the current generation of consoles?
No.
Okay. So that does limit it, correct, to last gen.
Yeah.
After 2000. Well,
it could be late.
Could be late N64, PS2 era.
Right.
Well, you've got
Xbox.
16 years between 2000 and now.
I'm
not saying it's not. I also want to say that I've done no research to see if this is. Oh wait, I can't say that. Go ahead. Sorry.
He was about to give us a freebie, Chad.
He's done no research to see if this game is backwards compatible.
Is ever a thing, if this game actually exists. All right, Dave. Do you play as a human?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Human. Yes. All right.
Human.
Is this an Xbox? Is this a console exclusive game?
This is not a console exclusive.
Meaning it was on console and PC? It was, sorry, I'm not putting words in your mouth. Meaning it was not only on consoles.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Was this... Do you shoot a gun?
Yes.
Is this a first-person game?
No.
Third person. You shoot a gun. Play as a human. Probably also on PC.
Red Dead?
Yeah, I was thinking along those lines. I feel like we've done that already, though, maybe.
I don't remember.
Let's see. Do you wear a hat?
Not primarily. If you do wear a hat at any point in this game, I don't remember. But this character's not known for wearing a hat.
Okay.
What?
Just trying to read your body language since I'm right here. Let's see. Is this an open world game?
No.
Let's see. Third person. Cross platform. Was this game published? Did this game premiere? Is the word I'm looking for. I want to be very specific on the last generation. During the last generation era, so during the PS3
Yes.
360 era. Okay.
Yes.
Is this part of a series?
Yes. That was question 10.
Any ideas over
I'm
there,
assuming
Chad?
I'm assuming that your computer's automatically using letters instead of numbers
because it's under a Roman numeral.
It's like B before 2000, C current gen. I'm like, are you like? It's just like.
Automatically doing it.
Is this a licensed property?
No. Yes. Yes. Okay. Chad's looking at me through the computer screen.
No, yes.
Well, yeah, I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't miss an obvious part that would make it a licensed property.
Evan, we're busy. Evan, we're busy.
We're doing a podcast live.
Hi, Evan. I don't know what's happening.
Sending us invites to play Overwatch.
Oh.
Okay, so it is licensed. It is part of series. It was on last gen.
Third-person shooter.
Shooter where you don't wear a hat, but you're a human. Is there a game in the series that is on current gen right now?
No. Now, I don't give anything away.
Oh boy.
Give me real quick your definition of licensed property, just so I'm making sure, clearing all my bases, because I don't want to ask specifics and then so it's this.
Well, I feel like when we talk about this, we usually say a licensed property is something that was not originally a video game. So it was some other media form first, a movie, a TV show, whatever, that got turned into a video game.
Yeah.
Still yes?
Yes.
Is this game came out last gen? Did any James Bond games come out last gen, Chad?
Mm-hmm. There were a couple of them. They redid GoldenEye, and they also had another one that came out that was kind of tied into the movies a little bit.
Is this a James Bond video game?
No.
Not my aha moment.
Oh,
I like where you're going.
I'm trying to think of some. I always have a hard time going, okay, so what movies were made into video games?
Yeah,
well, I definitely know that movies are a licensed property.
That what? You
Movies.
definitely what? Oh,
There'd be no question.
So
about
maybe like TV show or comic book. Could be a Walking Dead game.
I would assume TV shows and movies, are this one and the same.
Okay, it's not a Walking Dead game.
so what other mediums are there?
Well, there's comic books, books, other things. I don't know.
And other things of that nature.
You're on question 14.
Was this did this have any multiplayer component to it?
It did have a multiplayer component to it, yes.
Okay. I don't feel like it would be a Resident Evil game.
What was that before it was a game?
Well, it wasn't anything before it was a game. It was a game and then it was a movie. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'd be a Resident Evil game because I don't think we'd do retroactive. Trying to think of like maybe something that was a comic book and got turned into a video game. Batman. Batman doesn't hold a gun. No, it doesn't shoot a gun.
No.
You guys haven't even touched on genre yet.
Unless you're watching Batman v Superman, in which Batman murders multiple people with a gun.
Just stop it.
Yeah, we haven't decided on genre. I think we were assuming up to this point that it was a third-person
shooter.
But it's third person and you shoot a gun. So I don't know if it's a shooter now. Dave, is this?
Well,
it could be like an action adventure game. It could be a platformer that you shoot a gun.
I'm not saying that you need to, start naming all this because you don't have a whole lot of questions, but there are certain things that in the past for us before, when we've touched on those things in a game, make it easier to eliminate
two things come to mind here. I want to ask either if there is a horror element to this game or if there is a stealth element to this game. I don't know which one to do. I'm going to go...
You're on 15, so you've got 6... How does that work? Yeah, you've got 6 questions left.
Right.
I'm going to go with, is there a stealth element to this game?
Yes.
He says that as if that would...
That's the key.
Tell us.
Yeah.
When you consider other questions, I think it definitely should. I think the aha moment is not far away.
What's happening? It's shrinking.
How'd you shrink it that small?
I don't know. Sorry.
That's what she said.
So what stealth type games were you thinking, or were you?
I didn't have anything in particular in mind, but
ooh,
what?
Tom Clancy. He wrote books.
Oh, that's true.
First, and I don't know if the character in Splinter Cell was based on any of those characters, but
I don't. Sam Fisher.
Right.
I don't know if he is a book character.
Dave.
Yes, Chad.
Is this a Splinter Cell game?
Yes.
Crap. Okay, so I don't remember names of Splinter Cell games. I'm sure I played it.
Ghost Recon.
That's a Splinter Cell game?
That's a Tom Clancy game, but not a Splinter Cell game.
Oh, you're right.
I know there's...
That's a Ghost game.
Conviction. Like Double Agent?
Yep, Double Agent, Conviction,
Ghost
Chaos
Protocol?
Theory.
Is Ghost Protocol the one?
No, there's Chaos Theory, Conviction, Double Agent. There might be one
all in last gen.
Blacklist.
Oh yeah, Blacklist is the one I was.
That was the most recent one. We could ask if it's. He might choose that one just because it's the most recent one.
Yeah,
and it might be the easiest to guess. So we either ask, we can find out if it's a sequel, or if it's the most recent.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Installment in the series.
Dave, is this the most recent installment in the series?
No.
Dang it!
Had to make it hard. Okay. Shoot, I don't remember all the titles either.
All right, so in Blacklist was the one where his plane was like always in the air, right?
Yeah, that was the most recent one they did. And then there was Conviction was the one before that.
Right.
Conviction?
And then Double Agent was right before... No, Chaos Theory was right before that. Double Agent was before Chaos Theory.
Was there another one? I want to say there was one more.
Pandora something?
I don't know. So, okay, so how many do we have left? What number is this?
You just asked 17.
So do we want to find out if it's a sequel?
You have 18, 19, 20, I guess.
Or
Well, it's got to be a sequel because the original Splinter Cell didn't come out on last gen. It didn't premiere on last gen.
good point.
So it's definitely a sequel.
So
I think the original premiered on PC, didn't it?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
So
I
what?
played the first one on
I played it on
PlayStation.
PC. Oh, okay.
How do we narrow it down then? How do we?
Man, I don't know. Like I'm trying to remember the story of some of these games. Double Agent is obvious. They think.
I mean, can we just straight up ask? Is the subtitle to this particular game Conviction? Is the subtitle to this particular game Chaos?
Yeah, we could.
That's-
I guess.
without asking,
That's
what
guessing the game.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I feel like that would be guessing the game.
I don't know how to narrow it down. Then I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like differentiating
subtitle?
gameplay mechanics because the differentiating like mechanic or like gimmick, if you want to call it that, for Blacklist would have been the plane, base of operation. And
I don't know if I played the other ones. To be honest with you,
I can't think. I'm sure I played
Conviction. I know I did.
I'm sure I played them.
Did Conviction have the co-op, or was that Blacklist? Because I know you and me played.
I didn't play enough of Blacklist to play any co-op if it had it.
Can't remember. I don't think
I've ever done co-op in any of these games, actually.
I know one of them did because I remember Dave and I played them together. Do you remember that, Dave? Do you remember when we played the ones together that we played?
I remember playing.
Do you remember which ones those were, Dave?
Together.
Whose question is it? I think it's yours.
You've got 3 questions and a guess at the game.
Yeah, I know.
And you've eliminated the last and the first game.
But we're unsure of the names of how many. We're even unsure of how many are in between.
I'll give you
And
a
the
hint.
order.
There's 4 in between.
Yeah.
And we can think of Conviction, Double Agent, Chaos Theory.
You've
One
got
are
3
missing.
questions and a guess. So really 4 choices and 4 games left.
But we
So
can't
you have
straight
to
up.
narrow them down to where you've got the last one as
I
your
don't
guess.
know how to narrow it down.
But I don't know how to narrow it down without asking.
I think
straight up.
Double Agent had an exploding car on the cover.
There are. I'm a huge Splinter Cell fan, so
Right.
I know that
I
there
don't
are-
remember.
there are 2 out of the 4 that have very standout differences.
So I would say Double Agent has, from what I remember, I could be wrong, but from what I remember, it has a white cover with Sam Fisher in the foreground looking off camera, and behind him is an exploding car. I feel like I remember seeing that for Double Agent.
I don't remember.
What is
Dave.
what is the story of Double Agent?
I see. That's what I'm trying to remember. I feel like they were mistaken.
Maybe he's a
Sam
double
Fisher
agent?
as being a double agent,
But then
maybe
that's a
the story
subtitle.
is
We
like
can
a
ask
triple
that.
agent or something like that.
Well, you're not asking if it's a subtitle.
Chad, I feel like Double Agent also came out on PSP because I think I played Double Agent on PSP. So
Hey,
we
Dave.
might want to ask if this game came out on handheld also.
I'm going to try this. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
In this game, Splinter Cell game, were you a double agent?
No.
Crap. So it's not the one that I had a little bit of insight about because I think that's the one that came out on handheld.
3 more left.
Crap. All right.
Ask if you have some conviction in this game where you
If he speaks with conviction, or if one is very chaotic.
yeah. Is there any theories involved?
The Double Agent one is a real cut and clear question that can be
True.
getting away with. This does he speak with conviction,
That's true.
or is there chaos going on?
That's true.
Man, I don't. When did they introduce that? The keyhole like camera, the fiber optic
I think that's in all of them.
keyhole camera. Was that from the beginning?
See, I don't remember enough. I don't know
That
if
was in the first one for sure.
I'm trying to remember his
I'd say, yeah.
gadgets and see if there was like a gadget that came out.
The gameplay is
See, for me, it's I don't know if I played all those, so it doesn't really mean anything to me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I can't
I
remember
know
the
one
gameplay.
specifically that you've played.
See, it's, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I think Conviction had a co-op mode.
That might be the one that I didn't play. Is Conviction the one right before Blacklist?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure. I think if based on that hint, I'm thinking that's might be the one he's thinking of because we did play it together.
Dave.
Yeah.
So Blacklist was the most recent in the series.
It was.
Was this game published immediately before Blacklist? Not immediately before Blacklist. I'm going to reword that. Was the Splinter Cell game that we are speaking of, was it the Splinter Cell game in the series of Splinter Cell games that was published before Blacklist was published? Like the one in the series, the next one back from Blacklist.
It's very specific.
I'm trying to word this correctly.
It is that it was published in the series prior to the most recent release.
Immediately prior to it.
Immediately
okay.
prior.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, one more question and a guess.
It's got to be Conviction.
Sure. I'm not as clear on the order of these.
I'm pretty sure Conviction's right before it.
All right. I'm all right with that.
Dave.
Yes, I can hear you.
Is this game Splinter Cell Conviction?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
It did have
Double
co-op,
Agent came
right?
after Chaos Theory, by the way.
Oh, did it? Was
Pandora's Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Pandora, right? Yeah.
The first Splinter Cell, Pandora's Tomorrow, Chaos Theory are all similar in gameplay. Double Agent, he goes into a prison and actually is he goes in as a double agent,
Right?
And actually fakes. What's his name's? He has to kill his friend, who's the leader of Third Echelon. Conviction, they completely changed the entire gameplay. They changed the way that Splinter Cell was. He was on the run. He was more in your face. It wasn't like all the stealth gameplay. He was. They introduced that marking system where you could, depending on how many hand-to-hand takedowns you had done, you would fill up a meter and you could mark people, and then you could perform an insta kill where he would one shot all the people within that.
I remember that now.
Within that limit.
Yeah, okay.
And it made him. I mean, they actually made it like to where they made a point to say, he's bringing the fight to them. They've been trying to get him, and now he spoilers. It's a pretty old game. He thinks that his daughter was killed, or his niece. I can't remember if it's his niece or his daughter.
You know what? I did play that game then.
He thought she got killed, and he lost his freaking mind and went after the agency himself.
Yeah,
and
I
tried
definitely
to
played
uncover all
that
the.
game.
And it did have a multiplayer, and so did Blacklist. And you and I played both of them.
Okay.
They're not ever the focuses of those games, but they were. Blacklist had a very cool co-op. I think that the Convictions was like a multiplayer. It might have been co-op too.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know if it was necessarily just versus, but I really liked co-op. Co-op took some flack because it went in such a different direction than what those games were. Because there was a lot less stealth. There was still stealth involved, but it wasn't as that going back using that word again, meticulous as the other ones were. But then Blacklist was just a completely different. I mean, it was the same Sam Fisher, but it was almost like he hadn't aged. He was getting consistently older up until Conviction, and then it's like he either stayed the same age or even went back a little bit, but the timeline didn't. He's now running his own Echelon agency or whatever. It might have been Fourth Echelon. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Had the plane. I think his daughter even worked with him at that point. She was not dead.
Gotcha.
And that was a good game. I really would like another Splinter Cell game.
Yeah, you going through the stories to all of them, I'm almost positive I've played all of them. I really like these games.
I can't remember Pandora's Tomorrow too much, although I do remember, along with the name, it's kind of, I know this isn't the same. Panama's not the same as Pandora, but it took place in a lot of that, like that hot climate area. There was marshes he would go through.
Yep.
Stuff like
rice
that.
patties and stuff like that.
Yeah. Chaos Theory. I can't remember the story to Chaos Theory the most. I might know it and just am mixing it up with something else. But Double Agent, I really liked. I liked the you were in prison. You had to do certain things. You had to break out of prison.
Yeah.
You then went to this compound with these people. You were doing missions on both sides, and the agency was cracking down on you more and more because it's like, come on, it's kind of like the Jack Bauer thing, where Jack Bauer was a double agent, and he also was a drug addict because he had to make them believe he was really getting in deep.
Yeah.
And there was a point where they're like, you got to kill. I can't remember the black guy that was running Third Echelon, his name, but the guy that was basically your handler and everything, or whatever you would call him. And they faked his death and made it look like Sam had killed him. And you think you do. They make the player. I mean, you think, am I really doing this? Like, and they made a big thing about that. Like, there's decisions that you got to make and then at the end of Double Agent, he walks away. Yeah, he's like, I'm done. I'm walking away. And then Conviction came out. He was on the run, but he got word that somebody had on purpose put a hit on his daughter to draw him out. And so he basically was like, okay, if you want me, I'm coming to find you. You won't find me, I'll find. Someone said, I think it might have been the black guy saying, you won't have to find him. He's coming to you. He will find you. You won't have to worry about that. And that game was really good. I liked it. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay. Take that.
I want another one. I want another Splinter Cell.
All right. They were fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that does it.
That'll do it.
Episode number 69 of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast in the books. Thanks for watching if you joined us on YouTube. And as always, iTunes listeners, thanks for listening. If you do get a chance, go ahead and go rate us on iTunes. That would be real dope of you. Speaking of drug addictions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so there you go. We finished the episode. Next week will be episode number 70. Next week, E3 will have happened, guys.
E3!
Man, I'm so excited.
We will be able to discuss.
Next week, we're going to be able to decide who won the E3 prediction show.
Yes, we will. It
Come
won't
on,
be Isaac,
RDJ, don't let me down.
Asleep.
Yeah.
Don't let me down. Robert Downey Jr. bringing it down in the house.
All right. Well, for myself, Dave, and Josh, until next week, thanks for listening.
Robert Downey Jr. just gets done with everything and goes, I am Nintendo. And he just walks away.
Great.
Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. I just changed everything.
Wow. Bye, everybody.
Pizza. Get out of here. Oh. See ya. Bye. Stopping broadcast.